to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with Andrew Velez, River Brown, and Joel Dehls. And it's now episode 296. In this episode, we're going to preview the AFC East and answer the biggest questions for each team. Are the Jets being overhyped? The Bills under the most pressure in the AFC? Was the Dolphins into a season last year a fluke? Was it? We got to answer.
Guess we're gonna find out.
And maybe
man.
This is the year Bill Belichick is removed as the Patriots head coach, and so is Mac Jones from the quarterback position.
Tell you what, man, I saw that topic. I saw that topic in the topic list, and I'm on the phone with my boy Jared. I'm just like, man, what the hell is Joel doing right now? But we're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
One?
Yeah, bro. I actually laughed out loud.
You don't think Belichick's on a hot seat?
No. Would you ever consider firing Craig Popovich?
No.
Okay, so then there it is. That's the end of the conversation.
But Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick have
Some beef.
Yeah.
Don't always see eye to eye.
Bill
There's
Belichick's-
definitely tension there.
Bill Belichick's
definitely
arguably
tension.
the best head coach in the history of all sports.
You can argue his conservative nature has done harm for the Patriots over the years. Matt
Maybe.
Patricia was a terrible decision to hire him.
I don't want to
was.
make this the first topic of the show. I don't
well,
because
we-
I could.
we
I
ha-
could.
We
but I'm
have the
deciding not to.
Patriots as the last topic of the show
Yeah.
for good reason, because we have to talk about the Jets. That's going to get animated. The Dolphins is going to get animated. We know that.
Got the Bills here too.
Yeah, Riv had to wear the blue do-rag for it.
facts.
I lost something and I was looking for it this whole time. I found it though.
What you
Some
find?
stats or just
No, I was paying for Football Outsiders this whole time, but I never used it until last week. So I was looking for it this whole time, but I couldn't think of the name just now. But I found it.
So now, if you guys remember 2 episodes ago, we started a raffle for our shirts that we're going to give away our merch. We're
Sir.
going to give away 3 shirts, but that's not the only thing part of our merch shop. We're going to have hats and shorts as well.
Tough.
And on the episode, we had 122 entries. You guys absolutely killed it. Just for that, put a like for the video and for the episode.
I like it.
What is this entry stuff?
this is for the
raffle,
raffle.
bro.
T-shirt
For
giveaway.
Pick a Side t-shirts.
Right.
That's what it's
You
for.
knew about this though.
I probably did. I probably just forgot.
Now I think we announced it when you weren't here.
No, that was the episode you weren't here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
pass.
so then we're good then.
And we have all the names in the spin the wheel. We're going to share the screen right now and
Let's do it.
start spinning that wheel.
Here
I'm-
we
I'm
go.
intrigued, bro. Let me get a look at this. Oh,
If
wait, I can
one of
look
you
right here.
guys
Ah,
can kindly just write down the names of the people who
say
win.
less.
So first spin. Let's spin it.
Here we go. Here we go.
It's
Here we
going.
go.
It's going. It's going.
They're slow as shit.
What do you mean, bro? There's just so many names.
There's a lot of names.
There we go. Pushing it.
Jalen Towson 02.
Double XL. Got your sizes on here.
First winner.
How am I spelling this
How many-
name? Jalen what now?
JALONTALT.
Uh-huh.
If you just go to YouTube, it'll have it up.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
ON02. And the size is a double XL.
All
Sir.
right, let's cook.
All right, let's remove him.
Congratulations, bro. Happy for you.
Shout out to Dalton for that.
Who's next?
Jay Alton, my bad.
All good.
Next up, spinning the
Spin,
wheel.
spin,
We're
spin.
spinning. 121 names.
Spin.
1 out of 121 chance to win.
Here we go. Here we go. It is
Justin 32 JJ XL.
The winners. One more. 1 in 120 chance.
Shout out to Justin 32 Double J. Next name up.
Shout out to Wheel of Names, man.
Willie
Great
Names is
website.
fire.
Great website. Great name.
Even though the
Use that for
T's are a little
everything.
bit. That one underneath, it's just that it just goes a little bit.
Are we going to
too
get our
silver, I
first
think.
medium here? Okay. Sugar free 23.
Medium?
Yeah, that
Medium.
rhymes.
Medium.
There you go, bro.
Sugar free
You graduated from
23.
a small?
I've never been a small.
Oh, my bad.
Shout out to Sugar Free 23. So Drew, that's Sugar SUGA free with
disrespectful.
4 E's.
23.
23
That was very disrespectful.
medium.
No, I thought I seen
No,
you
it was
getting a little
crazy
brolic.
disrespectful.
My shoulders are too wide for smalls.
Word.
He actually gets a really.
You're also kind of long.
Wow.
And that does it for the 3 winners that won to pick a side.
Congratulations to the
Shout out to
boys.
the people, man.
Let's go. Shout out to Jalen. Shout out to Justin. And shout out to Sugar Free 23. Man. Let's cook.
And our merch drop is going to happen next week. And also some big news for you guys. In the comments, I've seen a lot of people drop what we're going to do for episode 300.
Uh-huh.
What we're doing for episode 300 is going to be similar for what we did when we hit the last century mark.
Shit.
If you know what I'm talking about, that's just a little sneak peek
There we go.
for you guys.
The real ones know. The real ones know what we did.
The next couple of episodes, we will be talking about football, previewing divisions until that 300th episode. It's going to be, of course, basketball oriented. Let's talk about the New York Jets, man.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the New York Jets.
Our New York
Is
Jets
this the most
New York Jets.
most hyped up Jet season of all time?
since 2010.
Since
probably.
2010.
You saw Muhammad Wilkerson. Was that practice today?
Yeah,
I was
I
telling
saw
you.
it. I don't know why people were so freaked out about it.
I don't know. You're kind of a Jet legend, though.
Yeah, people are freaked. No, I'm saying people were freaked out, and they were like, "Don't let him near Quentin Williams."
Yeah.
Why?
He had to fall off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Muhammad was a dog, though.
He was
great.
He was a dog. Did he get paid then fell off?
It was
Yeah,
him
a
and
little
Sheldon,
bit.
right?
Sheldon
That was
was
the
great.
duo.
I think Sheldon fell off.
He did. Did he
Faster
go to
than
Cleveland? He
Muhammad
was mid.
Wilkerson. Yeah, he was very bad. He went to Minnesota too. He
Minnesota,
was bad there.
facts.
You know, the Jets, interesting stat about them. In the last 10 years, we have been a top 5 defense in terms of efficiency. Offense has been dead last across multiple
Not
different
shocking.
categories in
And
the
years
last
of not
10
being
years.
able to score is nuts.
Look at our quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not complicated.
So it's not defense, it's a problem. Our defense has been
It's been
our
great.
backbone. It's been
Yeah.
our bloodline.
We've also had all defensive coaches outside of Adam Gase.
Yeah, we
you know,
have. We
Todd
have.
Bowles, Rex, now Salah.
Didn't you guys have a great run game a couple seasons? LT, little Shane
and-
Green
and
action.
and
That was
the
a
rest
Sean
days,
Green.
facts.
Chris Ivory had a little season.
Chris Ivory,
Facts.
2015 with Fitz. Yeah, that was legendary.
Chris Ivory.
Got him for like a 5th round pick.
Come on.
That was a steal.
Lyle Powell.
Bilal Powell,
Jet
another
legend.
Jet
Yeah,
legend. Yes. I think we're
Look at the
connected
names.
on
Look at the
LinkedIn.
names.
Respect Bilal Powell. Please don't do that.
Jeremy Curley.
Jeremy Curley, man. TBT.
Quincy and Newinwell, what could have
Oh
been
my God, man.
AJ Brown before AJ Brown.
So this topic is, what would a successful or failed season for the Jets be?
Do you want me to start, bro? Because I feel like the anticipation's to hear you guys go. So let's let the audience let it drag out a little bit. Let me get my thoughts off, and then of course the gentleman to my right.
I am
will
interested
go.
to hear what you guys.
That's what I'm
your
saying. We
successful
know
and failure of
the
season
audience is begging to hear what
That
Joel
means I'm
and
going
Joel.
first during the Tua segment.
That's okay. That's
Oh,
cool with
God.
me. I'm
Good
cool with
God,
that.
God.
Let them cook. Listen, I'm not here to disrespect the Jets. That's not what I'm here to do. I've been hyping them up too. I believe it. This will be the best Jets season that they've had since the 2010 season. And that's saying a lot. They went to the AFC Championship game. They came up a little bit short. It is what it is, but it was a great season, a great defensive unit, just a great team overall. But now you look at what's going to happen in this 2023 season. On paper, you guys are one of the best defenses in the league. You could say you guys have a top 5 unit last season. The only reason why you guys weren't a playoff lock was because your offense was lackluster, which is what you were going to allude to with, I'm assuming that's what you're going to speak about. But now things are different. Of course, Aaron Rodgers now comes to town. This becomes immediately the most hyped Jet season, probably in your guys' lifetime, regardless of the AFC back-to-back championship seasons. But now the expectation, where even in 2009 and coming off an AFC championship game, going into that 2010, the expectation wasn't a Super Bowl if you were a Jets fan. Maybe Rex Ryan wanted you guys to believe that you guys are going to the Super Bowl, but that was never the expectation because the offense never matched the production of what your defense was bringing to the table. And rarely ever do we see them two elite units coincide with one another. However, now you have Aaron Rodgers. Now you're supposed to have an elite quarterback at the helm. This is one of the best quarterbacks this game's ever seen. He immediately comes in, becomes your best quarterback that you've ever had in your franchise's history. And I'm not saying that as a knock. This is something that if I'm a Jets fan, I'm rejoicing. I'm excited. I can't wait till the September hits, that Monday Night Football game against the Buffalo Bills. We're going to see eyes attracted to that television screen like we haven't seen for a Jets game in over maybe 10 years. Maybe the last game that Jets fans were really drawn to the TV screen was that Fitzpatrick game against the Bills. But realistically, now you have Aaron Rodgers, and you can look at this offensive line, and that's one of the things I'm going to nitpick here. I don't love your offensive line, but there's some talent. Of course, it's dependent on Mekhi Becton. Is he going to be 100% healthy? Of course, McGovern's solid. AVT coming back for injury. That's huge. How is Lincoln Tomlinson going to look in year 2 with the New York Jets? Was lackluster last season, but we were having conversation. You could allude that to the quarterback play being lackluster and simply not being able to get the ball out quickly, allowing sacks to happen because you're holding onto the ball too long, or allowing pressures to happen because you're holding onto the ball too long. But now you have Aaron Rodgers. You're pairing that with Garrett Wilson. That's going to be electric. Alan Lazard now joins the team. McCole Hardman, Aberna can take the top off. These two guys, Alan Lazard and McCole Hardman, aren't game changers, but they're solid pieces to have in a wide receiver core. But realistically, what we're looking at that's really going to be exciting is that Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson connection. I'm not going to speak about the defense because it should be already common knowledge. It's going to be amazing. The question is, how is year one Aaron Rodgers going to look with the New York Jets? We've seen it two seasons as a part to this last season where, of course, my king, Russell Wilson, wasn't able to complete the trifecta. But the year prior, Matthew Stafford joins the Rams, Super Bowl. Tom Brady joins the Buccaneers, Super Bowl. Is this going to repeat itself where the Jets have the defensive unit to play against any team and limit their offense? It's just going to be a matter of if Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to come into the Jets system very seamlessly and be able to score points. Hopefully, Breece Hall is ready for week one. I saw that you guys placed him on the pub, but you were telling me that you can take him off at any time. That's huge news because Breece Hall simply makes your offense unpredictable because he's an amazing rusher, but he's also a great pass catcher in his own right too. So realistically, the expectations, what is a failed season for the Jets? If you're a Jets fan, you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, you see a top 5 defensive unit, anything but a Super Bowl would be disappointing if you ask me. A failed season, I can't say it's not a Super Bowl because that's unlikely. It's a matter of making the playoffs. You haven't made the playoffs in some time. I'm not going to ask for unrealistic expectations. You don't make the playoffs, it's a disappointing season. If I'm a Jets fan, I just want to make it to the dance. That's it.
Oh, man. Listen, beautiful. Beautiful. I knew you weren't going to hit on the Jets. You know, we've talked along this entire offseason. Although before the show, we started so late because we did get into little Jets versus Patriots.
I was shocked.
Debate. No, it shocked me.
Come on.
Because the Patriots versus Patriots.
That's what it was.
No,
That triggered him. That triggered him. All I said was that you see the Patriots on the Jets schedule. It's not a foregone conclusion, regardless if the talent gap is drastic. You can't. You did it last season. It bit you in the ass. You see my walk. We see what happened.
The talent was not drastic last year because the quarterback was on his back.
That's true.
It was
your guy.
Some of the worst. Okay, yeah, my guy. It was, and he'll bounce back in a big way 2 years from now. You'll see.
2 years from now.
No, but listen,
he's
Dehls.
got his own black book. Yeah.
Listen, Dehls.
That'd be elite.
I'm excited.
Black book.
I'm excited as a Jets fan. You know, we got so much Jets gear in this studio. We got the Aaron Rodgers jersey. I got a Jets mouse pad. I got a Zach Wilson toy. I got a Mark Sanchez figure.
Remember the shade did a Zach Wilson?
Where's the Darrelle Revis football? You mentioned that already?
Darrelle Revis football is upstairs. I believe it's not here, but I had it here too. You know, I was thinking about this topic, and I can give a broad overview of the Jets position skill groups and, you know, kill the stones like that. But I wanted to do a little comparison because the Jets remind me a lot of the Buccaneers. The 2019 Buccaneers, the team that Tom Brady joined. The Buccaneers had a great roster that was held back by a turnover-prone quarterback, simultaneously a Hall of Fame quarterback playing up north, was disgruntled with the situation, with the Patriots, with the lack of support. In 2022, the Jets were held back by the worst quarterback play in football. Simultaneously, a quarterback playing out west was held back, is disgruntled by a franchise he spent his entire career with, most of it with, because of the lack of support around him, drafted a quarterback instead of a wide receiver when he was vouching for a wide receiver. Both Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, coming into their respective seasons to their new teams, face question marks. Are they washed? Will they be the same quarterback? Tom Brady proved doubters wrong, and so will Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback. Last year, he was one of the best on-target quarterbacks. He had a better on-target rate last year than his 2021 MVP season, but the Packers dropped the most passes in the NFL last season, and that led to the decline in production. The Jets have an elite running game with Breece Hall back, an elite wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, depth at the receiver and both the tight end position, a great front seven, an elite secondary. Aaron Rodgers only had a top 5 defense once in his NFL career.
And they won the whole thing.
And they won a Super Bowl. What year was that, Drew? Can you tell me what year was that?
Was that also 2010?
That was 2010, the year that the New York Jets made the AFC championship, our best Jets year. We have a 12-year playoff drought. Is it a failed season if the Jets don't win a Super Bowl? No. As a Jets fan, I just want to taste. I just want a little taste of the playoffs. I don't want the whole bag of chips. I want a little bit of
I
the chips.
respect that. Hey, he just wants to taste. I see his vision.
Because if we get to the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers and his defense, we could beat any team. I trust us against any team. And this year, we're getting a motivated Aaron Rodgers. We're getting a great roster. You know, our schedule, it might look a little bit daunting, but we have the best rest advantage in the NFL. We're not facing any team coming off a bye week this season, I believe. And from the month of October to November, we don't travel outside of New York. The first 8 games, 6 of them are in New York for the Jets. That's a great advantage when you're facing a difficult schedule. So for me, I'm looking at the Jets. Yes, the ultimate success is holding up that Lombardi trophy.
Definitely.
Second for Aaron Rodgers. And boy, that would be a great way to shut doubters up. But as a Jets fan, I just want to get a taste. I just want the playoffs.
Just taste.
And if the playoffs happen, I'm going to have the biggest smile on my face. And, Zach Wilson's going to be learning and taking notes the entire time behind Rodgers.
He's headed up and down camp for sources. It's been 2 days.
Yeah,
2 days.
It's been the last 2 years.
days.
McCole Hardman had a walk-in touchdown, underthrown ball by Aaron Rodgers.
Fourth year.
Imagine if that was another quarterback in the AFC East. How would we be talking about it?
I don't really care.
Pretty
Riv,
nasty, if you ask me.
Riv, would you like to go or do you want me to?
You're a Jets guy. This
I
is
know,
your
but
moment.
I don't know if we want to go back for it. You know what I mean?
I'll go last. This is your
Okay.
moment. I'm happy for you.
Joel, listen, man. I like the whole. I just want a taste of it. I don't want to taste. I need a mouthful.
You want to swallow it.
I need a mouthful to play.
You need a swallow
because when I look
You
at this
guys
team,
are nuts.
you don't go out and trade for Aaron Rodgers just to get into the playoffs. You don't go out and trade for Aaron Rodgers just to win in the wild card round. This Jets team, a successful season, begin to the AFC Championship game. Anything beyond that is a successful season. If they win the AFC and they go to the Super Bowl, I am head over heels.
You're coming.
Yes. Anything less than that, I'm okay. We win a playoff game. That's fine. We win 2 playoff games. I'm happy. But AFC Championship game, that's the level I'm looking to reach. You know, a lot of people.
Be careful. Be careful.
You just said Super Bowl.
I know, but I'm saying, listen,
You said
what do you
Super
mean what I
Bowl.
say? What are you talking about?
You said be careful.
No,
Yeah, why'd you say be careful?
I'm saying be careful because I've been in your guys' shoes.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
all
man.
I'm saying. I'm just saying to be cautiously optimistic. I still believe that you guys will make the playoffs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's not get a little bit. Let me not say ahead of ourselves. Let's not get greedy.
Man, get greedy.
Like I
fucking
said,
greedy.
You guys have the largest playoff drought right now, the longest playoff drought there is, and that the Broncos haven't made it since we won the whole thing. Hey, I'm with Joel. Just a taste.
You
bro.
said this. Did he not just say the Super Bowl?
No, I didn't.
I think
I said
don't
if
even
I'm a
remember.
Jets fan,
Oh,
failure is
yes,
not-
a
okay,
failure
okay.
is
Listen,
not.
I understand,
Yes.
Drew. I understand why you're warning Dehls and you're warning not to not have
They're
high-
spamming 0-5
high
again.
expectations. Listen, they're spamming 0-5, and listen, Dehls.
They should be spamming
You know,
0-6.
That was a moment where
Got him.
you lost faith in Zach, and that's why that happened.
Oh my
That's why that
God.
happened. You know it.
I think the opposite.
know
I
it.
think.
I think
Well,
you
I wasn't
gained-
even.
no.
I gained. No, Zach got hurt.
You were just
We
like,
had that.
you're
Was
good.
that after
Zach
Chicago?
didn't get hurt. He got
upgraded at the
benched.
quarterback
No, that was
position.
yeah, you did.
No,
some-
that was the
Mike
Chicago
White.
game.
That was
That
Mike
was right
That
after
was
the Chicago
after
game.
the
So that was our
Chicago
last win of the season. Then we lost 6 in a row.
Yo, 0-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going.
You jinxed yourself, I think.
Probably,
Yeah, I
but,
think that's what it
You know,
was.
sometimes you need to go through pain and if we don't go 1-5, say we make the playoffs, we don't get Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Maybe we do.
But not if your boy Zach Wilson steps up.
We all want
But a
that.
lot of people,
Better
you know,
chance of Riv eating his own shit than that happening.
yeah, probably. It's easy to make fun of the Jets. It's easy to make fun of Jets fans because even though we don't
I didn't
always
even hear
have the
first
hype,
part.
even though we don't always have the quarterback, Jets fans are just always unrealistic. Jets fans always think they have the best team. Jets fans always think they have the best players. But this Jets team is really like that.
It is.
This Jets team is actually like that for real. Like, listen,
Alan
last
Lazard.
season, you look at the end of the last season, you look at the record, right? 7-10. You're like, damn, 7-10. You know that's not. You missed the playoffs. You lose your last 6. Like, how can you even be excited for this team outside of Aaron Rodgers? But then you go back and see what actually happened. Zach Wilson preseason gets hurt. Season feels like it's going down. He's out
Did
for
it
a month.
really?
We don't think anything's gonna happen, right? Joe Flacco, by a miracle of God, we go 1-2. We win that Cleveland game. Garrett Wilson game-winning touchdown, 20 seconds left. And little did we know, Zach Wilson coming back was probably detrimental to this team because although he did win those first 3 games when he came back, or 4 games, I want to say, we ended up going 5-2. Exactly. A lot of that, though, was because of Breece Hall, right? So Breece Hall, to start off the year, was splitting carries with Michael Carter. But once it hit week 4 in Pittsburgh, that's when he took over. Weeks 4 to 7, 59 carries, 350 yards. That's 6 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns. He was the focal point in the offense. He was what made this offense go. And then week 7 in Denver, he tore his ACL. That's when everything went downhill. We went from 5-2. We go, 2-8 the rest of the season. And part of that has to do with Zach Wilson's play. Breece Hall goes down. Zach Wilson's not able to step up. Zach Wilson's not able to put any sort of the team on his back, the leadership.
Bro, the Steelers game.
Nothing.
The fourth quarter.
Nothing,
Got a game-winning drive.
Nothing
Fourth quarter
happened.
comeback.
And outside of
He went perfect in the fourth, I think.
outside of 2 games with Mike White, the Jets failed to score more than 20 points for the rest of the season after Breece Hall went down to injury. They didn't score more than 20 points when Zach Wilson was on the field. Not only does Zach Wilson get on the field, he gets benched for Chris Trevler. And he was so bad, they put injured Mike White back out there against Seattle. And then they didn't even want to see Zach Wilson week 18 against Miami. They said, fuck it, we're going to put Joe Flacco back out there.
And against the Lions, he almost let us that big.
3 interceptions.
That throw was OD.
Yeah. And
a throw.
to end the year, the Jets lose their final 6. The last 5 games, they scored 12, 7, 3, 6, and 6 points. They go 12 quarters without scoring a touchdown. This offense, it doesn't get worse. There's no way this offense gets worse. Now you have Aaron Rodgers. And listen, I don't need Aaron Rodgers to be MVP. I don't need Aaron Rodgers to be God. I don't need him to even be a top 5, top 7 quarterback.
He can be, though.
He can be. So all he needs to do is be a top 12 to top 15 quarterback, because this defense last year was one of the best in the league. And barring injury, this defense can be right back there again. We have playmakers on all 3 levels. Quentin Williams, shout to him. He just got his bag, 12-sack season. Carl Lawson last year coming off an Achilles injury. He still had 9 sacks. You have Jermaine going to year 2. Yeah. Will McDonald, rookie this season. This defensive line is one of the deepest in the league. We're going to be able to rush the passer. And we know the secondary, we have probably the best cornerback room in the league with Sauce, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter II. We're going to be able to attack the quarterback. We're going to be able to cover on the back end. And this defense should be top 3, top 5 in the league again. As long as this offense is average, this should be a 10-11 win team. They should be able to go in the playoffs and beat damn near anybody. I don't care if it's the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens, whoever. Any given Sunday, if this Jets team is healthy, they should be able to beat anybody in the NFL.
And a great stat for our defensive line being stout. When we didn't blitz, 38% pressure rate, 6th in the NFL. Our guys get after it. Yeah,
you got a little deeper, right?
I did a little cat. I did a little cat on you.
He just changed his voice.
And listen, before every Jets hater wants to come out and be like, "Hey, the wins were against backup quarterbacks. The defense wasn't facing anybody legit." Zach Wilson haters. Listen, you didn't have to drag down the energy and the vibes at the table, bringing up Zach Wilson. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate that. But look at this right here. I have this. Our defense last year played the number 1 schedule of toughest offenses. We ranked 2nd on early downs and 6th in defensive efficiency. If we only look at the Jets' defensive stats against top 10 offenses, we're removing the Dolphins games where Skylar Thompson played. The Jets faced the Bills, Bengals, Lions, and Jaguars. The Jets would have still ranked number 2 in success rate, 3rd in yards per play allowed, and 5th in EPA per snap. So even against the top offenses in the league with their star quarterbacks, we held those teams in check. So I don't expect the defensive regression for us unless injuries bite us. But this defense is real. It's legit. Sauce is going to cement himself as the best corner in football this year. And listen, man, the Jets are real.
Shot. He knows the truth.
PS2.
He knows the truth.
It's either way. Pastor Tan is a dog.
Hold merchant.
It's technique.
Oh,
it's technique, baby.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson sucks, man. Like he's actually
terrible.
really dog shit.
Almost beat the Bills.
Nah, bro.
We almost choked. That's what it really was.
There was
they put up 30.
There was people prior to the season starting believing that Skylar Thompson should have been the starting quarterback.
Yeah, they saw a preseason game and said, "Hey, throw him out there."
We happen to have the luxury of watching him live. He's actually dog shit.
No, he was so bad.
No, he's like really not good. I'm disappointed, man. I thought I was gonna come here, get a little bit more excitement out of here. Here's some real wild takes. You were pretty on par.
You
just said you want to see the first. I thought I was gonna hear more from you. I'm a little disappointed. The question on YouTube that it says, what would be a successful Jets season? I think anything lower than the 2nd round would be a bit of a disappointment. I think with the team that has like Aaron Rodgers is there. Aaron Rodgers, we can all agree, is a top 8 quarterback in football, if healthy, back to his vibe, even at worst, top 10, right? Whatever. Like, I still think he's better than most of those guys. But you have Garrett Wilson, who's going to be in year 2, who's going to be emerging. You have Breece Hall, who's going to come back. He's going to be elite. You probably have the best defense in the league, if not definitely top 3, an elite style defense. That division is tough, though. That division is extremely, extremely tough. I feel like this team, as great as this team could be with Aaron Rodgers, the ceiling has to be AFC Championship. I feel like the ceiling has to go there. You just said it. You think they should be able to beat any team on any given Sunday with the talent that's placed with Aaron Rodgers, with how great he is as a quarterback. It should be no less than the second round. You should not want to see just the first round. You should not want to see just, oh, we get into the playoffs. No, you should want the expectation to be AFC Championship or bust. You done built this team with that defense. You got that offense with Aaron Rodgers. It should be nothing less than that. I just think the only thing you can really nitpick, and we're going to probably do that all show where all these teams, is the offensive line. You know, I think nobody in this division with the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets have this amazing, outstanding offensive line. But with Aaron Rodgers, his ability to read plays, get the ball out quick, he'll be able to mitigate a lot of stuff with that offensive line, which is good. And, of course, you have Breece Hall. So I think, like, to answer the question, what would be a successful Jets season, it's got to be like a second round berth or like an AFC Championship game. I feel like this team, especially with Aaron Rodgers' age, you know, we don't know how he's going to be next year, the year after. You kind of have to play that by ear. You're going to have to start paying guys soon. This could be a short window. You have to kind of take advantage of it. So I feel like AFC Championship should be the ceiling, and it should be a successful season for the Jets.
The offensive line scares me too. The one thing I'm holding out hope on is last year Aaron Rodgers had the quickest time to throw in the NFL. Part of that has to do with scheme, which is going to be very similar to the one Hackett runs. Part of that has to do with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, how many times have we seen, going back 2 years, him and Devontae Adams kind of lock eyes, and then, you know, someone's playing off on Tay, he just throws to him, quick 10 yards. A lot of that, I think, could help kind of mitigate the issues the offensive line is going to have.
And I think it's just going to open up Garrett Wilson's game more. Last year, there was a lot of goal ball attempts to Garrett Wilson, a lot of inaccuracies. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players in the quarterbacks in the league at throwing that pass. And I can't wait to watch it as a New York Jets fan. And I can't wait to watch Alan Lazard throwing. I can't wait to watch Alan Lazard catching contested balls too. I mean, we know Lazard could play.
He can. Alan Lazard or Corey Davis, who has more yards?
Lazard. I think Corey Davis would be good though. You know, Riv, I'm disappointed in you. I know that you probably expected me to come here and say, you know, the Jets win the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't say all that.
Because you know, back in 2020 when we did the podcast, it was my best take ever. You know, sadly, we didn't have a big audience at the time, so people don't remember me for that. But I had the Bucks winning the Super Bowl that year with Tom Brady.
That's your best
when he
take.
Joined.
You couldn't find a better take.
You want to know why that's the best take? I'll remind you right now, Mr. River Brown.
You know,
I'll remind you.
Saints.
I'll remind you.
Saints
beat the Bucks twice. Second time, I got it. They got blown out. I came here with a bunch of stats. I told River every time Tom Brady has got blown out this bad, he's won a Super Bowl, and I said he's gonna win. And River was here laughing at me, making faces.
They started the season 7-5.
They did. Then they ran the table.
Pardon me for being excited about the Saints.
And I told them they was going to run the table and they ran it. So I understand why you feel a little bit ashamed of me and not saying the Jets can run the table. But the AFC is just too damn strong for me to feel so confident in the Jets just running the table and making it out the AFC. I respect the Chiefs. I respect the Bengals. I respect the Bills. I respect the Ravens. I don't respect the Dolphins. I lied. That's a little joke. That's a little stretch. I respect the Dolphins too. I respect these AFC teams. So I'm not just going to say I think we're outright winning the Super Bowl because it is going to be tough. But Breece Hall now getting lighter boxes. Last year in the NFL, when he got light boxes, he was number 1 in the NFL in EPA.
He had 23 miles per hour at practice yesterday.
You know, our run game could be one of the best in the league.
23 miles per hour.
23 is stupid.
The fastest he had last year was 22 in a game. So
he shouldn't be doing that.
He's a nut. He's a nut.
And I mentioned it earlier, but from October 5th to November 12th, the Jets don't leave New York. That's a big thing. And I think the NFL is giving us an advantage this year. Years past, even though we've been one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Jets have always had the most difficult schedule for some reason. Last year, we had the most difficult schedule in the league, and we were one of the worst teams in the league. The first 9 games we were playing in our home stadium for 6 of them. And after week 11, we have the league's best rest advantage, having a combined 12 more days of rest than our opponents. That's the best the Jets have had in franchise history. That rest advantage is the best. You couple all that in together with the amount of primetime games that we have, it's no secret that the NFL wants this Aaron Rodgers and Jets marriage to work.
God
So
forbid.
shouldn't you be a little bit more excited? You
God
know,
forbid
I
they
am
didn't-
excited.
Be a little bit
I
more.
just wish they didn't give us the Eagles and the Chiefs within
Oh,
the
you're
first
fucked.
5 weeks of the season.
I know that we're going to
And
do
we're
our
gonna
final
win.
predictions at the end of the show, but I am dying to go through this schedule because, again, like we were talking about earlier, Joel and I were going over the schedule
can do it
before the
together.
show started. And I don't love this schedule, not by any means. And that's not a slight to you guys.
The whole division has a tough
Everyone,
schedule.
yeah,
though.
everyone. got a tough
Everyone in your
schedule.
guys' division definitely does have a tough schedule.
It's those first 5,
It's-
6 weeks. is
You're
brutal.
coming in with a new quarterback. I get it.
Is
It's
it in
at the end-
Philly or?
No, it's at MetLife.
Ooh, nice.
Good luck.
I don't know. We're not going to win.
We
probably.
never
Nah.
beat the Eagles, but we'll beat them this year.
No, you won't. Actually, this is the worst year.
This
that
the
you
year
can
we
say
beat the
that.
Patriots and the Eagles.
This is the
How about
worst year
that?
for you to say that, bro. I'll
How
be
about
honest.
that?
No, we're
Wow.
gonna beat the shit.
I
out of
feel
you
like
guys.
this will be good for
This shit's
conversations.
crazy.
We don't have to go over the schedules for every team when we have these individual conversations. However, I do want to go over the Jets, and I would love to have your guys' input.
Okay.
So week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. This is a Monday night football game.
win.
When
I also believe you
Dog
guys.
fight, but we'll win.
I think they'll get that. They have to get that first one.
That's 9/11 too.
Yeah, it'll start.
Very
The,
emotional for New York.
no doubt.
I also don't
Yeah.
want if we lose to there be panic. Which if we lose,
I've
there's
never
gonna
heard
be
nobody say
panic.
that.
I'm not panicking if we lose this game though. I will, but
if
I
you
think we win.
lose,
Our
I can,
eyes will be on Aaron
I can
Rodgers that day.
understand why there would be panic because the next game's at Dallas. I think that's a
Ooh.
loss personally.
That's a tough game.
It's a tough game.
That's a loss.
But then you look at the stats of Aaron Rodgers' record in
In
AT&T
Dallas,
Stadium.
he owns.
mhm.
He owns Dallas.
But Micah Parsons and Marcus Lawrence, our offensive line.
Dallas got better.
That
Dallas is a
secondary
team-
from Dallas is legit.
Yes, that Dallas team, I respect them. If we lose the Bills game, we win the Dallas game. If we win the Bills game, we lose the Dallas.
That's
game.
an optimistic man. You could see it in
Go-
his
go
eyes.
I
on
like
to
that.
one.
I
like
tell
that.
the audience all
I like
the
that.
time.
You go 1-1 regardless.
Audience has to pay attention on social cues. If Joel starts giving a take and he starts smiling when he's looking me in his eyes, he doesn't believe it in his heart.
That's not true.
Number 3 versus New England Patriots. This one's at MetLife.
That's a win.
It's a win.
Jets. I'll take
How
Jets.
confident are you, Joel? Let me talk to someone, a man of reason right here.
I am like, you can never be too confident against New
I
England.
like
agree.
67.
How many games in a row?
65, 14?
Yeah.
12,
14,
Who have been our
something like that.
quarterbacks?
Woo!
You know, historically, the Patriots defense, they do the best against inexperienced
Yeah.
or rookie quarterbacks. Who have we had at the helm for all those matchups?
Yep.
Inexperienced, bad quarterbacks. That's not Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna smoke them.
Okay. All right. Versus KC. L.
2-2.
No, talk to me.
That's a
Because
loss.
you were telling
That's his
me.
guy.
No.
We have a chance in that game,
We
but I
have,
have
a,
the
we
chance.
have a chance, but we'll be
Puncher's chance
we'll
for
be
sure.
a touchdown underdog probably.
Yeah.
I
Is it
told
in
you,
Kansas
Maybe
City?
four,
Drew,
maybe
I
5
never-
points.
Drew.
I think it is.
Is
Is it
it
Kansas City?
Drew's mic disconnected.
Here we go. First time.
No, literally
You guys,
first time.
you guys can still talk to it. Just fell out.
Is
I
it Kansas
think,
City?
Pause.
Kansas City?
Um,
Did it
No,
go
this
back
is
in?
in MetLife.
It's in MetLife.
You
Okay.
put it back in?
Yeah, dude, we're all good.
All right, here we go.
I got the Chiefs.
Everything's all smooth.
Chiefs will probably win, but got a shot.
That's a
At
test.
Denver.
We win.
That's a loss.
We're
That's
3
a
and
tough
2.
one. At Denver,
That's a loss.
That's against a toss up.
as long as you run out 3-3, I feel like you have valid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is the Sean
to 3 and
Payton
3.
led Denver Broncos now.
Crying.
So
Javonte Williams is back. Jerry Jeudy breakout as the XY receiver on our
What do you
team.
need, bro? What is it? Oh, no, okay.
no, I'm good.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Those look like shit.
No.
All right. I have a loss here personally.
I don't.
Okay. You have a win at Denver?
What's our record at this point? 2-2.
Correct.
Give us the win. 3
All
and 2.
right. Optimistic because you're going against Philly the next week.
Exactly. That's an L.
That's what I'm saying, bro. The schedule is ass. I
Yeah.
have you guys right now going 2-4 to
Let-
start the season before the bye.
Let's go after the bye.
All
week,
right.
though.
So then the Giants.
I think we
I,
win that.
I think that's a tough
Don't worry
game.
about
It's not a
bro.
tough
I'm going
game.
W on
We-
your
we
guys'
can't,
part.
we
You
can't
need
call
this
every
game.
bad team a
You need-
tough game.
hey-
It's not a
Whoa,
tough game.
whoa,
The Patriots
You're
are
mid,
bad.
you're
The
mid.
Giants are bad. It's not a tough-
Patriots are your daddy. That's all. That's the only
Those should
thing I
be
want to say.
gimmies. Respectfully.
Versus the Chargers, I have an L. I don't care.
That's
if
a
you guys
tough
are at
game,
home.
but I think Chargers having to go West Coast to East Coast. I'll give us a slight advantage.
I got the win too for
Okay,
us.
I bet. At Las Vegas, so you guys are gonna have to go East Coast to West Coast.
Raiders
now.
suck though.
They do.
Yeah, I have a win there.
I
I
think
do
we
have a
win that
win
game.
also. At Buffalo, I have a loss.
That's an L.
Yep.
Split.
Okay, versus Miami.
I think we split
Home?
with you guys. We're home. I think we split.
Yeah, I got the win too.
Yep.
It's something about Tua playing the New York Jets, undefeated.
What quarterbacks have we had?
2-0.
You know.
You're gonna
I
play
was
that
saying-
quarterback card all
No,
day.
He beat us when we were bad though.
Joe Flacco. That's also when the Miami
Yes.
Dolphins weren't good.
They've been bad for 12 years.
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah, it's
like he didn't. Tua didn't Tua didn't play last year, did he?
He didn't play.
Yeah.
I don't think either
Mm.
game.
No,
Scholar did. It
First
was
game, no.
hilarious.
Week 18. Yeah, week 18, no, he didn't play.
No, he
so.
didn't play.
Scholar did, but Sauce clamped up Tyreek Hill.
Well, Skylar Thompson was the quarterback.
I understand, but Sauce, if you just watched
I was
their
there,
heavy
bro.
matchup, he clamped up Tyreek Hill.
I was there. I seen it all.
That one's a close game. I have versus Atlanta. That's a W.
Yeah, that's a win.
Hiuston. This is when things
That's
start to
a win.
get
Have a W.
optimistic. Then at Miami,
That's an L.
that's a loss.
Split.
Sure.
And then Washington, I also believe that's a
That's
W.
a
That's a win.
At Cleveland, tough game.
Could go either way.
L.
That could go either way.
Tough game.
Yeah.
I can go either
Deshaun
way.
is back at that point.
Okay, at New England.
That's a win.
That's
I
week
think
week
we sweep
18.
them. We sweep
That's
them.
why
If
week
that's a must-win game,
week eight,
we're not
exactly.
losing
Week
that game.
18 is
I, was-
important.
I would like to say something.
Hold on.
Drew, I understand. Listen,
That's what I mean.
I get the record, but if the Jets are as good as we all think they should be, games against the Patriots and the Giants should be wins comfortably.
So both they're sweeping.
They should.
Week
They should.
18 is
They should
important
sweep.
because if the Jets are trying to get into a playoff spot and the fucking Patriots are 5-11, one thing's going to break. The Jets are going to be desperate to win, and the Patriots, you could talk about Bill Belichick wanting to, beat us all the time, but at the end of the day, it's the players on the field who want it more. The Jets are just going to want it more.
In the last couple of years,
An optimistic point
Bill
of view, bro.
Belichick's defense against
Fine.
experienced, actually good quarterbacks, they do not fare well. I don't trust the Patriots offense scoring more than 10 points
Remember
on
last year when they had the kick return, the punt return to beat us, it was 3-3 with 30 seconds
That
left in the
was
fourth
a
quarter, bro.
nasty ass.
Like they could not move the ball.
And
on
what about
us.
the other game?
The other game was smoke show. The other game was smoke show.
That's what I'm saying. Like, listen,
They
it's
should
way
wash
more
them.
realistic just to say we're getting one. We're getting one. I want the concrete conversations here. I don't want the bias talk. Let's not do that because we've all been victim to it. It never leads us
Oh, it
in
was
the right direction.
22-17. I'm bugging. I don't know why I thought it was.
It's
a
because
blowout.
Zach Wilson threw 4 INTs.
He threw
That's really
3
what it
picks.
was.
Yeah.
Felt
So
like a
they
blowout.
got 4 interceptions and
Only
scored
three
22
interceptions.
points.
3 interceptions.
And
Correct.
scored 22
They can't score
points.
against you guys, and they won't be able to
Not
score
many
again.
teams can.
I feel a lot more confident. I don't know why I thought it was a blowout.
All right. So
Change your tune.
that's
I
it.
heard
That's
Dehls.
a sweep through.
The
You
fact
should.
that it's week 18, I think, is important. If it was like week 4 and week 12, and they could both be battling for playoff position, but I think none of us have the Patriots as even a kind of in the hunt type team.
I don't
think
feel-
all
I
can
Have
go
we
don't
had them
pass.
in the hunt any type of season the last 3 years?
They haven't been in the hunt.
I think
Well,
last year
10
we
and
had them
7, they
around
made the
7.
playoffs
I had
2
them in the
seasons
playoffs
ago.
that
I think last year most
And
of
they
us
won
had
8
around
games.
7-8 wins,
Uh-huh.
didn't we?
Yep.
Last year I was low on them. And
I was low on them
they
too.
finished. They weren't.
They were
They
8 and
weren't a
9.
good team. Yeah,
They were definitely better than what we anticipated.
slightly because they like
We'll get into it. We'll
yeah,
get into it.
whatever. Just the quarterbacks they beat. You know what? Let's just talk about it now.
Okay.
The
New England.
quarterbacks they beat was Zach Wilson twice, Mitch Trubisky, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, Sam
quarterback.
Ellinger,
Good
Colt
quarterback.
McCoy, and Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson.
Sam who?
Sam
Ellinger.
Ellinger.
Or
The Colts 6th round.
Jacoby Brissett, not bad by any means. Let's not gloss over that. Jared Goff, of
Jacoby's
course,
a good-
good quarterback.
he's a
Other than that, mid. Agreed. And definitely less
shit.
than mid.
They
Correct.
have the most difficult schedule in the league. I don't anticipate the Patriots being good. That's not me being
Listen, no,
biased.
I got
I
y'all
just don't
around.
think they're a
I
good
got y'all
team.
around like 10 wins.
10 wins should be the floor.
The floor for me here is 9 because it's a
Yeah,
difficult,
I
it's
agree.
a difficult
I agree.
schedule. That's the floor.
The floor can't be 10 because that means the ceiling's like 13. I don't know if we get to
Correct.
13.
No, the ceiling could be 12. 12,
I
11.
guess so. It's just a very small.
It's a very
like-
small win. It's
okay.
it's a
We'll
tough division.
recap
It's a very
the
small
records
window.
that we have for them
I'm
at
just
the
saying,
end
just
of the
no,
show.
agreed. But we're just the only schedule we're gonna do as of right now is the
Yeah.
Jets because I felt like it would have been good conversation.
No doubt.
Because I understand there's definitely some optimism for the Jets, rightfully so. It's just understood, no bias in my heart at all. The schedule is difficult,
Don't push your misery on me. What
Oh,
happened to
wow.
you,
brother. I'm a champion
No,
still.
what happened to you last
I
year?
watched the champion.
Don't push those vibes towards me.
I'm not.
I'm heading into the season
Listen,
with a smile on my face, up the roller coaster.
Name someone more optimistic than me when it comes to my squad. I couldn't tell you one.
I have the Jets at 12-5 this year.
Oh my god.
I have them at 12-5.
That I feel like 12-5 is the ceiling. I feel like the floor would be the 9 and 9-8.
I'm with them.
Listen, I don't
I think
disagree.
9
11 and
is
6
ceiling.
for the Jets.
I have 11-6 too.
But we're making the playoffs for sure. And I think in the
Sure.
AFC, to make the playoffs, you got to win 10 plus games.
Agreed.
I think that's
Shit,
the bare
10
minimum.
10 wins has shown you that still might not be good enough with the AFC.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys missed the playoffs winning 10 games one season,
Yeah,
didn't
with,
you? That
with
was that
Fitz.
Oh,
Fitz.
don't remind me.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I hate that I
goodness.
have to do that. It's just,
No, that game literally. You know what? No, the worst Jets game I've seen was Sam Darnold ghost game.
That
Then
was pretty
the
bad.
second one was the Zach Wilson.
In New England.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was bad.
you know the Fitzpatrick one I can live with a little bit, but just the fact that we were facing Rex Ryan,
Oh, facts,
it just
facts.
really puts a sour taste in my mouth. The Bills are a team that maybe have been going under the radar a little bit because everybody's expecting the Jets to either win this division, and some people have the Dolphins as a dark horse. We're kind of looking at this year for the Bills to, kind of regress a little bit. And I think after losing in the playoffs in back-to-back divisional rounds, the Bills, it gets tougher from here, man. And I do think that they're under the most pressure of any team in the AFC this season. They're under the most pressure. But I want Riv to start this topic first and answer that question.
What you got in your
Because
mouth?
Riv, you're a Bills
spit it
fan.
out, bro.
You're
Swallow
wearing
it.
the blue do-rag. You've been waiting on this topic, and I want to hear what you have to say about the Bills.
Straight face.
Do you think the Bills are kind of getting slept on right now?
Yeah. I really, you fucked me up, bro. I ain't gonna go for
Urban swallow,
Second-
bro.
oh.
God damn.
My God,
Let
you
him
like
finish.
that,
Let
wouldn't
him
you?
finish what he's doing.
Because I'm ready to slander.
Go. You explain. I'll
Mhm.
come back.
All right.
This is
There's two topics now. Drew starting.
Hey, man, listen.
not
when
even
we
his
get-
teams.
When we get to the Dolphins, my team, quote unquote, you guys can go. I have no problem with
Let's
that.
go first for the Patriots.
All right, that's
Great.
cool. Listen, I'm not here trying to
I
be
gave you the
selfish.
Bills.
What a victory.
I'm not here trying to be selfish. I just have my thoughts ready to go. I just look at the Buffalo Bills. Yes, of course, there is talent on this team. The defensive line is one of the best defensive lines in the game, so long as Von Miller is healthy. We saw a strong regression from the Buffalo Bills, particularly the one that pops out at just any football fan would be that game against Cincinnati. The fact that they had a bunch of injuries to the offensive line and they still were not able to get pressure onto Joe Burrow. But then we go the week after, you see Cincinnati face up against Kansas City, and Kansas City is getting a ton of pressure on Joe Burrow. It simply couldn't have been the case, especially with Ed Oliver, Gregory Rousseau. I mean, there's just guys on this team that should have been able to get to the quarterback that simply weren't able to. But if Von Miller's healthy, this defensive line should continue to be one of the better ones in the National Football League. Matt Milano, of course, being one of the better middle linebackers at his position. The concern here for me with the Buffalo Bills, two things. Their secondary, is Trey White going to be back to Trey White? Other than that, of course, Poyer and Micah Hyde, that's a very impressive safety combination there. That's going to be a matter as long as they can stay on the field, they're going to continue to be dominant. But at the cornerback position, is Trey White going to be Trey White? And is Elm going to take another step in his development so far in his career? The cornerback is a concern. And the most important concern for me is this offensive line. And now I've been on record so many times saying when you have a quarterback that is mobile, offensive line isn't an imperative position to address because they're able to maneuver their way out of there. However, when you have a guy like Josh Allen, it's inevitable that you're going to want to protect him. Herbert can escape the pocket and make plays happen. So can Joe Burrow. But when are they at their best? When they have time to see the plays develop and they're able to push the ball downfield. Josh Allen, these last couple of seasons, have been able to do that. He's getting forced outside the pocket. He's being forced to make throws that necessarily aren't the smartest decisions, but he's Josh Allen. He trusts his arm, and then that's when turnovers happen. And that's when you're giving the ball over and you're putting the opposing team in position to score, and that is just never a recipe to be consistent and win footballs at a consistent basis. But this offensive line outside of Deion Dawkins really is not that great. I look at the wide receiver position. Stephon Diggs is amongst the elite in the National Football League. Other than that, we're looking at a bunch of mediocrity, and I say that kindly to Gabe Davis. To say he's average is not disrespectful. He is just an average wide receiver.
Crazy.
Is that rude to say?
Come on, what are we doing here?
What's the word that I should use to describe him then?
Solid?
Which coincides with average, if you ask me. And then with the running back position, I have optimism for James Cook. We saw it last season with not that many carries, still able to average over 5 yards per carry, very efficient with his touches. I understand that Damian Harris was brought along to coincide him as well with the loss of Devin Singletary. Damian Harris is definitely going to get some usage, but I'm optimistic that James Cook gets involved a little bit more just for the fact that he also is a great receiving option out of the backfield, and that'll be a great check down option for Josh Allen. So that way he does not need to be this, not just the best passer on his team, but of course the best rusher on his team. And would I be surprised if he did that in back-to-back seasons? Absolutely not. He is special. He is one of the most talented football players in the National Football League. But it's something about this team that I can't buy in on. Maybe it's the fact that Von Miller's getting up there in age, and last season we saw him go down to an injury. How is he going to be back? I saw him when he was in blue and orange suffer an injury as well that derailed our season. Understanding that Von Miller's Von Miller, I expect him to fully come back and be dominant. He was. With the Rams, he was fantastic. Last season, prior to tearing his ACL again, he was dominant. You saw the season change for the Buffalo Bills. Maybe it's the fact that they simply just have not gotten better. From year to year, they were one of the most dull in free agency. They really did not make anything happen aside from what? Bringing in Damian Harris. This is a team that should have been buyers, really trying to compete, but understanding that they're limited in cap space. They're really handcuffed in what they're able to do. I understand that this is a playoff team, but this isn't division winner to me. This is a wild card. This is a wild card team. And I think that from last season to this season, Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen, but overall, this team is not going to be what the Buffalo Bills have been.
Even take that, Rib? It's getting disrespectful.
He said, "You said we're not
a wild card
team. So
You
who
guys
are the
are-
division? Who are the division winners? The Dolphins and the
that's-
Jets.
only one.
I think
It's only
the
3.
Bills and the Jets will have similar win-loss,
And the Dolphins.
but I think that Dolphins will I say comfortably. I think comfortably,
Comfortably.
I'm sound with the idea that the Dolphins win the division.
Josh,
Comfortably, how many games do you have them winning?
I'm saying I'm comfortable with my idea. I have the Dolphins winning 11-12.
how many games do you have the Bills winning?
I have the Bills winning 10-11.
Ball bounces one way. You know what
Well, I
I mean?
only-
got him like 3
Well, I
games
only
ahead.
say
I'm cool
I
with
say
that.
10-11 because 11 was me being teetering, but I very firmly feel 10.
Still 10
Correct.
because they didn't make a move.
Yeah,
Okay.
they almost lost in the first round to the Dolphins with a third string quarterback.
that's fair.
The very week after, at home, they get dominated by the Cincinnati Bengals. Not that the Cincinnati Bengals aren't one of the
Bengals are
premier
like that.
teams.
They got Joe Burrow.
They are
Yeah,
amazing.
we know.
And
But to almost blow it to the Dolphins when
Yeah.
it should have been, that was the lock of the week. The Bills were going to beat the Dolphins. If you had to put your money, that was be the
Early
team
in the
to
season,
win.
you're saying?
No, I'm saying going into
playoff.
the playoff
game.
Sunday.
Right.
interesting enough that the Dolphins have a quarterback who has trouble with injuries and they haven't really upgraded their offensive line.
They haven't won a
Well,
playoff game since 2000.
Yeah, we'll get
But
to
their
that.
defense was dog water.
Yeah.
And what did they go and do? They
For
address
sure.
the middle
And-
linebacker. They go and they
And
bring in
and
Jalen Ramsey.
What you just said with everything with the Buffalo Bills, including everything you said, plus injuries to damn near their whole team. In the regular season, they still finished at the end of the year a top 6 unit in offense and defense, with Josh Allen being injured, with Tre'Davious White coming back after week 10, with them having no running game, with them having no number 2 and number 3. They still did all that and still been top 6 in both offense and defense. And they come into this year, you expect Josh Allen to be better. Of course, you expect Josh Allen to not deal with that injury, come back, be better. You expect Stephon Diggs to still be what he's going to be. You expect that defense, and now Micah Hyde, Poyer, Tre'Davious White, a full offseason and just fully recovering and getting better. You expect that secondary to be much better. The offensive line is an issue, but I don't think it's as big of an issue when you have a guy like Josh Allen, because even though he is toxic with the ball at times, sometimes he fumbles, sometimes he makes bad passes, of course. I think still you live with it because he is still a threat with his feet, and I think that is important. The running game is probably the most important it's ever going to be this year. Hopefully James Cook can make that step, but I still think this is probably still the most dangerous team in this division, because this is a team that's been consistently at the top, winning the division. They've run this, they haven't run the same offense, but they've been the most dominant offensive team outside the Chiefs, maybe the last 2-3 years with Josh Allen at the helm, Stephon Diggs. You literally just can't stop this offense. It's too explosive in the regular season. I think a lot of these problems that you're talking about is probably going to bother them in the playoffs. But I think in the regular season, the offensive line can be mitigated with Josh Allen. I think as long as this team is healthy, Von Miller comes back week 6, as long as he can bring some damage, because you mentioned the Chiefs in that playoff game. They had a game changer in Chris Jones that was able to wreck shit, cause a lot of open areas for other guys. They didn't have that. The Bills didn't have that against the Bengals.
Ed Oliver and Gregory Rousseau are supposed to be good enough that
but
they're able
Von
to get
Miller
to the
really
quarterback.
They're not
opens
game
up.
changers, though.
Yeah,
They're not
Von
Chris
Miller-
Jones, but they're
Von
still
Miller's-
very good.
Von Miller
They
makes them
gave
look
Von
much,
Miller
much
$100 million
better.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Of course, Von
He
Miller
makes
is
them look
premier.
much, much better. Not to say they're not good players. They're good players, but when you have that elite guy with you, you just elevate your game for sure. And Von Miller is one of that. I think this team is still one of the best teams in the AFC. I think this team is still the best team in the division, and they're the ones with the crown right now. I don't know about the Dolphins being comfortably better than them because they upgraded their defense, because the Buffalo Bills defense is still an elite group, even with everything you just mentioned. They dealt with multiple injuries. They even dealt with lack of depth last year in the defense, and they still were able to finish as an elite unit. You could say it's strong, but the numbers back up what I'm saying.
Mhm.
They ranked second last year.
The elite group. And playoff times when you can systematically scheme against them, and the scheme doesn't look too right in the playoff setting. But in the regular season, I still think this team is an elite group, and I still think they'll be number one.
I think the Bills are kind of getting slept on a little bit. I do. Josh Allen was an MVP candidate before his UCL injury against the Jets in Week 9. You can argue he was number 2, if not in the driver's seat of that award. Last season, he did have a lot of turnovers. It was his highest interception percentage rate since his rookie year, which basically means that to me, that's the highest of his career because I don't really count that rookie year. I feel like Josh Allen, the quarterback he is, has been the last 3 years. I don't count those 2 years when it comes to Josh Allen.
Since year 3.
Yeah, since year 3. The Buffalo Bills, I do think, are getting a little bit slept on because last year they converted 55% of their first downs. I was first in the NFL on third downs and saw the second highest rate of light boxes. Now, this is going to coincide with your opinion, Drew, of thinking James Cook is going to break out because James Cook averaged 2.69 yards before contact per rush last season, which ranked 3rd in the NFL amongst 96 running backs. And on first down, it was 4.14, which was first in the NFL as well. And he gained 15 or more yards on 13% of carries, which was the best of the NFL. So it shows his down-to-down ability, but also his explosive play ability, which is something the Bills have been lacking. The Bills have always needed a running game, but people kind of get that confused. The Bills don't need to rely on a running game. They just need to have a good one when the time calls for it. This team should still be pass heavy, should still throw the ball and air it out with Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
But when you have to run it, you can gain yards. And James Cook has shown that ability with the Bills. And especially when they run on first down, James Cook has given them 2nd and 6s. And at that point, that's already a first down for the Bills if that's that short of the sticks. My issue with the Bills really is that this is a make or break year for Sean McDermott, the defensive-minded head coach. They're the second-ranked defense last year. They were great against the run, elite against the run. They were average against the pass in terms of yards. Leslie Frazier's taking a year off. He's been the Bills' DC since 2017. Sean McDermott's claim to fame was with the Carolina Panthers, their Super Bowl run. He was a DC for them. He's not only the head coach this year, he's the defensive coordinator. So the defense, if it fails, if it succeeds, that's all riding on him. He has 2 jobs now. He has 2 things he has to maximize: the team success, but also the defensive success. And that's going to be a big task for him. And the offensive line is still not a good group. They allowed 44% pressure rate in the playoffs, which was abysmal. And that's an obvious weak point of the team that I don't feel like they addressed. And they have the 5th toughest schedule of pass offenses. They're going to be going up against Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Aaron Rodgers twice, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua twice as well. This is going to be a dangerous group of offenses they're going to face. They have the capability to go up against them. But the reason I say this is the most pressure they have, after this season, I don't see a path for the Bills being a division winner in the AFC East or being a contender, a true contender in the AFC at all. Right now, there's already hesitancy around whether the Bills will win a division. This year, Josh Allen's getting paid $17 million. That's his cap hit. In 2024, next season, that's going to jump up to $47.1 million, almost a $30 million increase. So those moves of getting Von Miller, those splash moves that they've been doing, that's not going to happen no more. This is arguably the best roster Josh Allen is going to be surrounded by in his career going forward. If he doesn't get it done this year, if the Bills flame out this year, I don't see a path for the Bills being all that successful and being contenders in the future.
I think part of the reason why a lot of people, maybe even me included, are sleeping on the Bills is just because of the other moves these teams have made. Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. The Patriots will skip right over, but the Dolphins, healthy Tua, get Jalen Ramsey, Vic Fangio, and the Bills kind of are just the Bills, right? So it's really easy to look at this team, like Drew mentioned, that they didn't get better, right? And I think every year, every offseason we go into, we look at teams and try to see the path to them to improve at key positions. But I don't think the Bills necessarily needed to get better, right? I think I saw that the Bengals game last year, I had the Bengals winning. I just thought overall they were a better team. But that's not because the Bills are a bad team, right? The year before, they were 14 seconds away from beating the Chiefs, right? They were 14 seconds away from going to the AFC Championship, and who knows what could have happened after that. But this Bills team is just as talented as really any other team in the NFL, in the AFC, and in this division. So although they didn't make any big move like, bringing in a Jalen Ramsey or a splash wide receiver, although they would have liked them to, I don't think that's necessarily the move they need to make because like Joel said, you are going to have to pay Josh Allen more money next year. His cap hit $43 million. That could obviously be restructured, but you can't continuously give out $100 million contract after $100 million contract because they're thinking about that down the line, right? We see that with the Chiefs the last couple of seasons. They've had to let go of Tyrann Mathieu, had to let go of Tyreek Hill because of Mahomes, his contract. I think the biggest difference between those two is that one of them has Andy Reid, so I have no problem in the world saying he'll figure it out. The other team has Sean McDermott, and I was very surprised that the Bills extended him. Brendan B, not as surprised. He put together a great team, but I was a bit surprised that Sean McDermott got an extension through 2027 because if the Bills failed this season, I would have expected at least them possibly to go into a different direction. I thought that there was a possibility they go try to get an offensive mind like a Ben Johnson from Detroit and try to kind of, mold this new stage of, or this new era of offense when you have Mike McDaniel doing great things, Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, everyone, all the top teams have offensive minded coaches. It was Sean Payton, of course, Nathaniel Hackett.
Enjoy him.
I know that's my guy now.
But maybe that's why Ben Johnson opted to stay in Detroit. If Sean McDermott flames out,
but now he's extended through 2027, so that's not going to happen. And listen, we know any given Sunday, Josh Allen can be the best quarterback in the league. Right before his injury, he was, like you mentioned, MVP type contention. But we also know he could struggle with accuracy. We know he could turn the ball over. So you have these really high highs with Josh Allen. But you do have some low lows, not to the extension maybe of a guy like Zach Wilson, but you do have some low lows in the terms of elite quarterback play. We don't really see the same low lows from the Mahomeses, from the Joe Burrows outside that week one against Pittsburgh last year. And maybe some of that had to do with the injury, but some of that probably also had to do with Brian Dable leaving, even though the interceptions aren't all that different.
Don't forget Herbert either.
Of course, Herbert doesn't have as many low lows, I would say, as Josh Allen. They're just not as... Josh Allen has a lot of these big splash plays, some of it with his feet, some of it just because he has one of the most talented arms in the NFL. I do wish, though, the one move they would have made was to get another weapon on this team. I think the X factor is Dalton Kincaid. Select him in the first round. And although he's listed as a tight end, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him line up at slot more than in line at tight end. He could do both. And I think it gives him a bit more, versatility and flexibility to attack the middle of the field, being in the slot compared to inline where it's a bit harder to get off. But I would have liked them to see sign DeAndre Hopkins. They were in the Odell sweepstakes, but they weren't able to get either of those guys. And when you look at the rest of this team, we know how great Stephon Diggs is. You were a big Gabe Davis guy last year. Don't know how you feel about him this year, but I think we know his role. He's a deep threat. And then the rest, it's Khalil Shakir, Trent Sherfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. And running back, I know you're a big James Cook fan. They brought in Damian Harris. I think he's going to get a lot of first and second down work. James Cook is explosive, but he's 190 pounds. And that doesn't always, translate to being a workhorse type running back. I think James Cook could be one of the best third down backs in the league. I think he could handle 150-ish carries like he did last year and average 4 or 5 yards per carry. But I don't know if you could count on him to be your every down back, which is why they brought in Damian Harris. We know the defense is going to be phenomenal. Sean McDermott, he's a great defensive mind. I'm not saying you should fire him, but we know defensively what they're going to do. They were 4th in defensive DVOA last year. Trey White's going to be 100%. Von Miller will be coming back. Kyer Elam will be going to year 2. They've one of the best second or safety duos in the NFL. I think we all want Buffalo to get over that hump. Well, being Jets fans, we don't, but I think NFL fans are kind of all waiting for Buffalo to get over that hump, get to the AFC Championship game, get to the Super Bowl. But when you look at the rest of the AFC and you see these other teams getting better, and the Bills are kind of stuck in this middle, like they're not getting better, but they're not getting worse. It's hard to see this being the year they get over that hump.
I think you mentioned a great point about how the Bills haven't got better, but you don't really think they need to. And I think that was an excellent point because the Bills have been winning the division for some years now. They have had a great roster for years now. Other teams like the Jets have had to catch up. The Dolphins have had to catch up. So now what we're seeing is we're not really seeing any team surpass them. We're kind of just seeing them be on the same level in terms of contention and competition. Yeah, but even like the Chiefs last year didn't make any major splash move, but we see the Chargers and their signings. We see the Broncos and their signings, and we say, you know what, this might be the year the Chiefs fall. But teams were just catching up to that team. Josh Allen, to me, healthy, is the best quarterback in this division. I think it's pretty clear. I think he's the best quarterback in this division. As long as they got him healthy, they should feel comfortable going into any game. And Sean McDermott has an elite defense. The good thing about the Bills is that most of their wins, 9 of their wins last year, were by 9 or more points. So they were winning comfortably.
They can knock you out.
And 3 of their losses were by a field goal or less. So this is a team that if they get beat, they're getting beat by this much, but they're in every game. And if they win for the most part, they're beating you bad.
And you talked about like in those games by 3 or less points, they've made dog shit decisions. Like Josh Allen had made bad throws. Like that one game against the Dolphins, he just threw a bad.
He had the touchdown wide open.
He just did, like it's a lot of bonehead decisions. And you meant like last year, Josh Allen was probably his worst we've seen in his best form after week 9. He was probably just extremely horrible, and they still ended up winning the division. So it's like you said, teams are starting to catch up. Teams are starting to catch up. I want to say, I guess this year the room for error is smaller than it's ever been for the Bills, and that's why people are kind of looking at them as a sleeper, because they can't make the same mistakes they made last year. They can't slack the way they can last year. I mean, they were an average secondary last year, and they were missing damn near everybody every other week. Even in that Dolphin game, they had new guys sub in every play. They were losing people at that point. So they had to sub in a tight end for an offensive lineman for one play because it was so bad. So, like, the room for error is extremely, extremely small for this team as opposed for other teams because they've been together. They have an older group. They've dealt with a lot of injuries. And, of course, Josh Allen he's not like Joe Burrow. He's not a precision quarterback. He doesn't have the IQ. He's not Jalen Hurts. He's one of those, I want to make this play. This shit going to be 50, 60 yards. We going to get it done.
He's going
and
for
I can make
glory
this play.
like.
I'm going for a touchdown every play. And if it don't happen, I'll come right back and I'm going to do it again. So you kind of just have to play that by ear. But
you got to live with both of that from Josh Allen, because you're gonna, when he hits that play, when he hits that 60-yard touchdown over the top to Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, you're looking at him saying, "Wow."
I remember the Steelers game. He did the shit 100-yard TD to Gabe Davis.
Facts.
That was like third down.
I feel like I don't want to. I get it. In the
You're a
game
hater.
of football, I'm not hating, especially right now with what I'm about to say. The game of football, it's so quick and easy. We just point at the quarterback. But again, we can't forget, like you mentioned, how 2 seasons ago, Josh Allen left the football field winning a playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs and did not see the field again and ended up losing that game. 13 seconds left. Josh Allen was flawless that playoffs. This season, you said it perfectly. He was unbelievable for the first 9 weeks, has the injury, becomes a little bit more loosey-goosey with the football, just starts to make a little bit, just lack of better term, just because that's the word that's coming to my boneheaded decisions, just making throws that, of course, Josh Allen trusts himself. He's one of the most confident quarterbacks in the league, and I've said this multiple times too. I'd rather my quarterback be overconfident than underconfident. I want you to believe that you can hit any throw on the field, and Josh Allen clearly has that mindset. To me, this isn't a Josh Allen conversation. You're 100% right. You're 100% right, and you're 100% right. Josh Allen is easily the best quarterback in his division. That's not the question. It's the pieces around him, and that's what we begin to question. Because Josh Allen can go on par with legitimately every single quarterback. He showed it even against Kansas City. Of course, Mahomes is the better quarterback, but he showed it against Patrick Mahomes. I can go tit for tat with him, and I can come off this football field with 13 seconds left with the lead. I need my defense to hold, and for the last 2 seasons, we haven't seen that. So I'm with you. It's on Sean McDermott to get this group together, finally hone in and understand that it can't just be on Josh Allen's shoulders. He cannot be the sole individual that is backpacking us every single week. He needs support.
Yeah, you two are sounding like you have a lack of confidence in Josh Allen.
Who's you two?
Who's you two?
You and you.
Me?
What did I say?
Did I?
Low key, just because the conversation was more centered around Josh Allen as opposed to
Questioning
I understand what he's saying. That's not what you guys are coming. That's not what you guys are saying. That's how you guys are coming.
Well,
across.
if he don't, I love. Whoa, hold on.
I understand what he's saying. That's not what you guys are saying. But that's how it's coming
across.
across.
If he don't play bad like he did, obviously had an injury. But if he doesn't, they win 13 to 14 games comfortably and get an easy bye. So
I know. I think a lot of that was due to the injury, though.
Oh no, of course. But a lot of it, we can say, and I love to use the injury excuse, but at one point in that injury, he was throwing 60-yard TD.
Like the loss to the Vikings. The loss to the Vikings.
They were
yes,
up.
you could say that that's partially on Josh Allen. He did fumble the ball at the 1-yard line. But other than that, they were crazy. Up. They were up multiple scores.
Shouldn't have lost that game.
The defense couldn't
no
hold
shot.
Against the Jets. It's a division game. That is what it is. But then they closed out the season with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in a row.
And Josh Allen, despite the injury, was like, for me,
into that mode.
I don't got a lack of confidence in Josh Allen, like what you were saying.
For sure.
And I feel like people have painted this narrative around Josh Allen as turnover prone. In moments, he is boneheaded. He has games in a regular season where it's been that way. but I think it was amplified with this past playoff appearance, the game against the
Yeah, it was
Bengals.
tough.
But the 2 playoffs previous to that, he was unbelievable in the playoffs. In 2021, not every quarterback has the benefit of things going their way. Like Josh Allen in that playoffs, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 149 passer rating. He deserved to win it all that year. It wasn't like a quarterback like Peyton Manning back in 2007 getting carried and throwing 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and still win the Super Bowl. It wasn't that. Josh Allen played perfect.
We're talking about 2016. 2007, he was Super Bowl MVP.
No, but that year in the playoff run, 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
You knowing that, why you bring up Peyton?
But also,
I'm just saying, sometimes the stats don't match. You get carried.
When was the last time you watched that Patriots-Colts game?
The
other day, he thought about it.
I'm just saying, put some respect on. If you want to talk about the 2016 one, sure.
I think the only major
but that 2007 run, that game against the Patriots, Peyton showed the.
I know, but 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions that game.
Okay.
I think the only major thing for the Bills that I'm really, really upset about is they don't have a number 2, like a consistent number 2 that could beat you up the line. It can be. You rely on a rookie is tough. But if he does pop out, we're lit. But it's like you want a guy that can constantly beat you on the line, and you just got Diggs and who else? I mean, Gabe is cool in the regular season. Yeah, he's a deep threat. As long you can wait 10 seconds for him to finally get open. But
Gabe will have a game he goes off for 120 yards, and he'll have 3 games in a row after that where it's less than 40.
You should want to expect we should as Bills fans fully expect him to come in this year and get better. You're still
Josh
young.
Or Gabe?
No, Gabe.
Okay.
Josh too, of course, but he's great. He's amazing. Best ever.
I think Gabe's role is kind of what it is.
Gabe Davis
that's his role because
solid
of his lack
number
of,
3.
But that's his role because he can't do anything else. If you get better, your role can expand.
I don't disagree. I don't.
He has to get better. He's big.
Just when people talk and they don't understand that Peyton went 66 yards in like a minute and 40.
Are you still on that?
I'm just saying, respect.
No, but what was his playoff stats for the entire playoffs?
Doesn't matter to me. Game.
Now you know what? I
Brady threw an interception to end that game.
Yeah,
but we don't talk about that.
No,
we're gonna talk about Peyton.
He got 6 rings,
even though he won the Super Bowl.
He got 7.
Even though what's Peyton's record against Tom Brady?
Stupid, actually.
What's Peyton's record against Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game? Do you know? 3-1.
I knew it was 3. I was gonna say.
Look, it's probably good. It's good. I'm just saying that you come here and you knock Joe Burrow all the time for having a 90+ passer rating and Payne won Super Bowl, throwing 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in the playoff.
He indeed threw 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Payne had 349 yards that game, a touchdown and INT.
Yeah, all that matters is winning, though. It doesn't matter if you were.
He had a game-winning drive.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow had a game-winning drive against the Titans, but people, and he got sacked so much, but people just discount that game too.
McPherson merchant.
So,
are those off topic? But those Jaguars pink jerseys, are they real or is just a Barbie thing?
I think those are real.
Those are fucking tough.
They're amazing.
Yes,
I need it bad.
I didn't know if they were real or not.
So all right, stats were a little. He threw 3 interceptions the first game, so it's a little flawed.
How many touchdowns did he throw?
He only threw 1.
So in the next games, he threw 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Yes. No. Yes. 2 to 4.
In the Super Bowl, he threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns.
No.
Yeah.
That's not true. He threw a touchdown to Pierre Garçon. I believe he went 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Because in the AFC Championship, if he threw 2 and 2.
No, he went 1 and 1.
07, right? Against Chicago.
Yeah.
He threw 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
The game before, 1 and 1. The game before that, 0 and 2. The only one scored 15 points. So they beat both.
It's a different game back then, to be fair.
Different game, different pace.
Different game.
He didn't. I like Payton, so.
09, though, hurts.
Terribly.
09 hurts.
No, the one that hurts the worst by far and away is 2014. That's easily my worst loss.
09, he kind of torched you guys.
Listen, the truth
No,
of
in
the matter,
09, he was amazing. 09, the whole run, he was amazing. And what's
touchdowns.
crazy about it, okay, we'll get back after this, and just because I'm hurting.
my ass off for the Saints.
Me too.
I bet. Understandably so. What hurts is that Pierre Garçon Reggie Wayne, one of the all-time great receivers, ran the wrong route.
Yep.
Tracy Porter takes a house call. But of course, all anyone ever says is that Peyton Manning threw a pick 6 to end the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, Reggie Wayne's come out multiple times and said that one was on me. All they do is criticize Peyton for it.
2013 against the Patriots, he went 400 yards.
No, he
2
cooked.
TDs.
No, he went crazy. But I'll also throw the caveat here because I'm fair. I'm very I get it. When it comes to Peyton, I'm biased. But Aqib Talib did get hurt that game, and that definitely impacted the Patriots. But it did not matter. We torched.
I think what I'm getting at, though, is...
Yeah, we get back to the conversation. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, not even. I like the tangent, too. I like the tangent. It's fine. And we have time because you don't have to go to your movie until 10.
10:30. Facts. We got time.
1 hour and 30 minutes. We have time.
How was the Little Barbie movie.
It was good.
I figured
They
you
were
would
all.
like it.
I didn't see you in
saw
Max's video.
I didn't see it.
Because I came straight from the podcast, so I wasn't wearing pink. I couldn't
didn't see
embarrass
it.
myself.
They all gave like 9 2s and above.
The movie was mad good.
What is it about?
It's essentially Barbies in a Barbie world, and Barbie, she's called stereotypical Barbie. She's having like an existential crisis.
I'll be honest. Every video I have seen, they've given nothing but 7s and ups. Maybe a 6 one time.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 94 or something like
Wow.
I
that.
think it made over
That was an
$100 million
audience score?
the
No,
first
the
week.
audience score, I'll let you know. No, but that was the critics' review.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, that's
take
really
the word
good
for it.
then.
I'm not going to see it either. No shot. No way.
No, but what I'm getting is
I'm
that
too manly to go watch
Absolutely.
a Barbie
We're
movie,
here.
even though there's a ton of sexy women in the movie.
I have a girlfriend. I don't need to see that.
Okay, yeah,
I could just call her.
90% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% audience score.
that's great.
Take the word for it.
And I didn't expect it to get that high of a score.
Yeah.
But some
Look, look
quarterbacks.
at the people who've seen it. Had to get you for that Patreon.
But you look at the quarterbacks that have like won, even Tom Brady, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He has 7 rings. When you look at his playoff stats and his passer rating in games and stuff, it's not eye popping. For a lot of the all time greats, their passer ratings and raw stats in the playoffs aren't eye popping for the sole reason that you're facing the
best of
toughest
the best,
defenses
yeah.
in the league. So, don't discredit Joe Burrow. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. That's what
I'm
I'm
not
getting at.
discrediting him.
We're in the
Fifth,
AFC East
fifth most
topic.
active playoff wins
All
right
I'm
now.
going to
AFC
say,
East topic.
The 5th most playoff wins kills me, man.
all I'm going to
Really
say,
does.
Fifth most active, baby. Let's
Really?
go.
Yeah, his numbers are so mid.
In his career.
What do you mean his
or-
numbers are mid?
In the
His team.
playoffs.
9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
He
How is that
averages,
mid?
Like 220
You
yards
just
a
seen
game,
Peyton
2
Manning
touchdowns
win a
and
Super
pick.
Bowl with 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Let me look up
You
Josh
calling Joe
Allen.
Burrow mid?
Different time.
Let me look up Joe
Get
Burrow.
out of here.
For Joe Burrow,
What was Jalen Hurts'
standards,
stats
in the Super
in his
Bowl,
playoff?
he-
No, in the playoff run.
He
The
was
same
hurt.
one as Burrow, probably.
He was hurt. He didn't even throw the ball the first 2 games.
No, Jalen Hurts in the playoff run. What were his stats? Passing touchdowns and interceptions.
I don't know.
Probably Joe Burrow.
I mean, in the
Because
in
he
the
had
Super
3
Bowl-
rushing
in the
touchdowns.
Super Bowl, he was
had 4
otherworldly.
In Super Bowl, he had
touchdowns.
1 passing touchdown.
Well, he's a fucking rusher.
and it was
snakes.
no. All right,
Don't count.
okay,
that's
don't,
all right.
Yo,
easy.
I'm
No,
sorry.
Get it
no,
together.
They don't count.
Bro,
Sorry.
easy. No, fine. Because how many of those passes were at the 1 yard line? Because I know for a fact Smitty had what, like a 60-yard catch, 40 yards on a rope.
Yeah, that was.
How
yeah,
about
yeah.
AJ Brown, 40 for 50 yards on a rope?
He got
Stop
down
it.
the field?
And then what did he do? He said, you know what? Let me
Joe
put that
Burrow
shit
got
on
down the
cake.
field too. He beat that.
Jamar
he,
Chase Merchant.
he actually beat that. He
Jamar
actually beat
Chase
Kansas
Merchant.
City.
Good for him.
You know that? The only
Lost in the
quarterbacks to
Super
really
Bowl.
do that. He lost the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts lost the Super Bowl too.
I agree.
So what are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
I'm just saying.
Well,
Neither of them
all
has
I'm
won.
saying is you gotta
Who's gonna
respect
win
Joe
Super Bowl
Burrow.
first.
Joe Burrow.
Jalen Hurts.
This is gonna happen
Nah.
this year,
I'll be
man.
honest.
It's either gonna be Jalen Hurts or Aaron Rodgers.
This year it's gonna be Mahomes,
So-
Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
Josh Allen
Hey,
Brock
hey,
Purdy.
hey, buddy.
Lamar.
Joe Burrow, the first game had 209 yards and 1 touchdown.
against the Raiders, right?
Yeah. No. That was this year against Ravens. Sorry. And Jalen Hurts had 154 yards, 2 TDs. They both didn't really do too much.
Cleared him.
Against the Giants.
Yeah.
So one faced one of the worst defense in the league, and the other one faced one of the best defense in the league.
Without their quarterback, and they almost lost.
Number one when they got Roquan Smith, they were one of the best defenses.
Tyler
in the league.
Huntley.
Okay, sure, but they won a game.
2017.
Bro didn't make any mistakes. Part of playing the quarterback position is not making mistakes and putting your team in harm's
No,
way.
he actually no. He almost lost that game if Tyler Huntley didn't dive in like this.
Yeah.
He
Tyler
would've-
Huntley made
almost-
the mistake.
Yeah, he
How
almost
you
lost
know
that
that?
game.
He could have came back and won a game. You don't
possible.
know that. It
It's
is
possible.
possible. You
Let's
play
not act
differently-
like Tyler
you play
Huntley was on
differently
some
when the chips
bullshit
are on the
that game.
line.
Oh, yeah, Tyler
What
Huntley.
happened?
Who dives in like this? Like
What
what is he
happened?
doing?
What happened in the snow? Didn't you lose a lot of money betting against Joe Burrow in that game?
I lost a good amount of money.
I had a mental breakdown that day, actually.
I remember. Calling our shot, tailing, calling our shot. Slip.
You know, I lost a lot.
He had a great.
The ladder
run.
shit was tough, yeah.
Yeah.
Or not a ladder. The what was it called?
Lost $1,200 that day.
What was the name of the shit called?
The ladder
the
challenge.
challenge.
Yeah,
the
the ladder challenge.
Against the Chiefs, Mr. Burrow went 270, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
No, it's by far his worst game.
Hurts
Chris
went
Jones had
304
after.
yards with TD.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 rushing, 1 TD. Yeah, stop.
He had 400 total yards.
Of course, and they both
Joe
lost.
Burrow does not have a game that good
They both lost.
in the playoffs. 400 total
Yeah,
yards.
I'm
4
looking at
total
it right
touchdowns.
now, so please don't say
In the playoffs, I mean, if we're talking about degree of difficulty versus the Titans being sacked 9
Dude.
times and still
He
winning
had,
the game and
he had,
having
what, he
the
had
game,
250 yards, 2
Versus
touchdowns, and a
the
pick
Titans.
against Titans.
he had 300 yards
He had 348.
Oh, my bad.
No
my bad.
touchdown, though.
No touchdown.
That's
Interception.
nasty. Yes.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Hurts-
against the Titans.
Yeah.
He
Hurts-
threw a pass to set up the game-winning field goal.
Oh, good for him.
What?
Hurts 400 total yards, 4 touchdowns.
You remembering his whole game by game is crazy,
Nah, I watched
bro.
Joe. Now watch, just respect.
It's fine.
That's all I'm.
It's
That's
fine.
I respect
That's
Hurts.
great.
Whenever I
That's
disrespect Hurts.
I respect Burrow. I respect Burrow so much. I think he's the second best quarterback in the league. I respect him so much. I want to see more in the playoffs. That's how much I respect him.
I think
He can elevate his game to a higher level in the playoffs.
Yes.
His numbers in the regular season are better than the playoffs.
That's every quarterback in existence.
But Joe Burrow could do more.
Is that every quarterback in existence?
Almost every quarterback, yes. Every great
Eli Manning,
That's probably that's probably one exception.
Patrick Mahomes,
Probably similar.
Josh Allen.
Probably the exception.
A couple exceptions.
A couple.
Yeah, but it's low sample sizes too, though.
I just need to see a little bit more.
From Mr. Burrow?
Yeah.
I got my eye on you.
I think he's the second best quarterback in the league.
I appreciate
I
that.
have very high standards for Joe Burrow.
I appreciate that. But, you know, we'll get into it, man. It's just,
He's got to
got my eye on you, man.
Because then Lamar's going to take
This
it.
guy's a little flippy floppity flop.
Joel,
What?
talk to me about the Miami Dolphins, please.
Here we go.
Well, thank you for transitioning the topic, Drew.
You're welcome.
The Miami Dolphins. Today on the show, it's wear one of your favorite players' shirt on the show day. And I will be honest, right now, I've been wearing my favorite player under this shirt right here.
Was that made in the group chat?
I'm sweating. I have a
Nobody
couple
has-
droplets.
I know
I have a couple droplets
Okay,
going
okay.
down my ass crack right now.
What the
Oh,
Because
hell
I've
is
been
going
sweating
on?
a lot.
Oh, what do we got?
But listen,
Here we go.
I'm about to show you my favorite player
There we go.
right here. Let's go.
Why are you sweating and the drip gets to your ass crack?
Oh, no. Oh, not a Tua jersey.
He is sweating.
Oh, my God.
Tua.
That's sexy.
It's Tua time.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yo,
It's
that's
Tua
insane.
time, baby.
That's insane.
That's gas.
Insane
And listen,
plot twist.
Jewel thinks
Yeah,
I
I
hate
can't look at you right now.
Drew
Yeah.
thinks I hate Tua for some reason. But the real truth about Tua and the Dolphins is that I respect what this team got going coming into this
Talk to
season.
him.
I respect the Vic Fangio addition.
Amen.
Jalen Ramsey. He's not Sauce Gardner, but he's still the top corner in the league. And I've openly spoke about this. Tua in 2021 and as a rookie wasn't put in a great position to succeed. They ranked 32nd in separation from wide receivers.
Correct.
Last year, they ranked 13th. And because of that, Tua took a sizable leap. Now, Tua, across the board, efficiency-wise, he had great numbers, great stats. But what's a criticism I have on Tua is that he's throwing to wide-open receivers. And
It's not necessarily true. You just told me 13 in terms of
it is
separation.
true because he's number 32 in tight coverage throws. He was number 32 in tight coverage throws last year. He wasn't throwing to the tightest windows. That's because his receivers were getting ultimate separation.
And he also throws his receivers open. Just saying.
But the speed of the Dolphins offense is what teams fear, which is why Brandon Staley and what he did in week 3 was very ballsy. He was jamming these receivers at the line. And if things didn't go right, I mean, he wasn't even playing his top corners that game. If things didn't go right, we're talking about walk-in touchdowns for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But Tua had his worst game because when you throw the top of this offense off, everything goes off. I'm not going to put the drop-off of the Dolphins offense as the season went on solely on Tua because I think Mike McDaniel has some responsibility. But where this offense needs to grow is that in the middle of the field, they're the most efficient team passing the ball. Running the ball in between the tackles, they're top 10 in efficiency. But Tua throwing outside of numbers he ranked 22nd, and the running game ranked 28th. So on the outside, on the boundaries, the Dolphins are not an inept offense, and that's what Brandon Staley attacked. He was basically having his corners pick up these in-breaking routes and forcing the Dolphins to throw outside. And Tua, he's great pre-snap diagnosing the defense. He knows where to go to the ball when it reads there. But as the play progresses and he needs to kind of he needs to improvise, that's the limitations with him. That's why I call him. Listen, he's an amazing system quarterback. I think he's a great system quarterback. And right now, the Dolphins remind me a lot of the 49ers, which the infrastructure they're building is enough to not have a top echelon elite of the elite quarterback and still potentially make a run. Now, this offensive line is scary. Connor Williams right now is holding out. Tyreek Hill is facing a suspension. And last year when Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle weren't on the field, this offense struggled immensely. And then we have Tua's injury history, the depth at certain positions. but the defense is going to take a big jump next season.
Definitely should.
The offense should get better. They should fix their weaknesses and make some tweaks to it. But Drew, this narrative you got that I hate Tua, and this narrative the fans got that I hate Tua. When I own a Tua Tagovailoa jersey, when I've been a fan since Alabama, I mean that's why I'm such a big Jalen Hurts fan. Dehls can live to tell the story, to tell the tale. I got Tua on my back.
I respect that.
I got Tua on my back.
You're looking handsome as well.
I appreciate it.
Orange might be your color.
Orange
Orange
fits
is your
me.
color.
I think
Your
orange
color.
does fit me.
I'll tell you what.
I think orange fits me.
Broncos?
Is that next? Russell Wilson? All right, listen. I've
always loved Russ.
I'll talk to my guys. We'll see. So the Miami Dolphins. I should say they definitely, in my opinion, exceeded expectations.
Before you start, why do you have that jersey on? I need to know.
Santos bought it for me.
It was a stipulation, and that's what I'll share with the fans. He has that beautiful Aaron Rodgers jersey back there because of Santos. Shout out to the GOAT. Give him a round of applause, please. But the stipulation was you had to get a player that you didn't like at all, and you had to wear it for an episode. That he got the jersey, the Aaron Rodgers jersey, but for an episode, you have to wear a player that you hate. And so here's the jersey, the shirt that I selected.
Who did he get you?
Though you don't hate him.
So I won't reveal yet who he bought me the jersey of who I like. I am not sure who he got for the player that I don't like. I can only assume who it is. However, I'm optimistic it's not who I think it is, and I'm praying
You're hoping it's not Mahomes.
that it's somebody else. Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So
I hope it is Mahomes.
So the 2022 Dolphins season, I'd say, went past people's expectations because prior to the season, there was conversations that Tua may not even be a starting level quarterback, that he would be replaced during the season, that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're just going to waste their time over there in Miami. Now, you mentioned it. You spoke about the 2021 season and the fact that he had the worst offensive line, the fact that he had a bottom three rush offense, the fact that his wide receivers were creating no separation. And yes, Jalen Waddle was a part of that group. Jalen Waddle was not a part of the problem, but you couldn't name another guy on that wide receiving core. I'll give you some help. It was Devontae Parker, who is definitely no longer with the Miami Dolphins. He just got paid from Miami. I think it's what, $13 million a year, something like that.
Yo, Nico Takes made a tweet and he was like, if you post Devontae Parker highlights, no context, you would think he's like the greatest player ever.
No, that season that he had with Ryan Fitzpatrick was
He was OD. It was OD.
Other than
Straight
that, he
contested
has
catches.
been mid. So this season, of course, last season, it came to a tragic end because Tua did have the concussions. He had his season ended by his third concussion of the NFL season, shut him down completely, where there was even conversation of him contemplating whether or not that he would return to football ever again. And of course, I was optimistic. I was hopeful that we'd see Tua again because Tua is my favorite player in the NFL. I'm a Broncos fan, but that's my guy for sure. And with the expectations now that we have of the Miami Dolphins, he's shown that when pressure's on, he can answer the call. And I get it. He had a rough December. I'll say we because it's me and Tua till the day that he retires. Absolutely. But of course, you mentioned the December games, and there were some rough games for sure. That Niners game was rough. That Chargers game was probably the worst of his career, in my opinion. But he had a bounce back game in Buffalo, cold day, snowy game over in Buffalo. He left the field winning the football game. His team could not hold on because the issue was the defense. So this season they go out and they bring in a middle linebacker and Long from, I believe it was the Cleveland Browns that they stole him from, correct? David Long. And then they go and they bring in Jalen Ramsey, one of the best moves of this offseason, bringing in a top 3 corner because, in my opinion, I have PS2. Sauce is definitely in that top 3 consideration. And then you have Jalen, who ranked 3rd in PFF with a coverage grade of 86. He was still elite. The issue here is that people have the misconception that Xavier Howard is still elite and that this duo is one of the best, if not the best, corner duos in the game. Xavier Howard was brutal last season, wasn't great in coverage, probably the worst that he has shown to this point in his career. And I don't want to make this a disrespect on Xavier Howard thing. Of course, he's one of the better cornerbacks that this game's seen over the last couple of seasons, I should say. But Xavier Howard this past season was rough. Maybe now that he's a cornerback too, won't be playing against the best wide receivers week in and week out because Jalen's now on the team. That'll relieve some pressure. But this line, my goodness. Phillips, one of the best rushers in the game last season as a rookie going into year 2. You're expecting him to take a leap. Wilkins, who definitely could have been in consideration for All-Pro. He had that great of a season. This line with Bradley Chubb also added to the mix. Now he gets a full off season, gets incorporated, gets reignited with Vic Fangio. this defense should take a massive jump, and that is because Vic Fangio, wherever he goes, good defenses follow. We had one of the best defenses for a couple years underneath Vic Fangio. He leaves. The concern was that we would be bad. We weren't. We were actually pretty amazing. But I fully expect Vic Fangio to come in and really reignite the fire underneath this Miami Dolphins defense. And I talk about the defense because I have no concerns with the offense so long as Tua is healthy. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, that is the best duo at the wide receiver position in the game. I understand Jamar and T. Higgins are there for sure. That's a great duo. But Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the speed that they have, the speed that they play with, they're just able to make plays out of nothing. They're a fantastic duo. And Tua throws wide receivers open. Last season, number 1 in passer rating, number 2 in EPA, number 1 in yards per attempt. I believe number 1 in average depth per target as well. One of the best deep ball throwers that the game saw last season. That was a big conversation also last season, that Tua Tagovailoa was not this great deep ball thrower. What did he do? He was probably the most efficient. I lost the tweet. My bad. My phone's tweaking right now.
First time.
But regardless of that fact, Tua Tagovailoa was special and answered a lot of these critics. And as I say that, I had to buy some time. In terms of deep passing rankings and completion percentage, he was number 1 with 54.5. In terms of yards, 990 on a deep ball. These are all passes 20 yards or more from the line of scrimmage. He had 990 yards. That was 4th in the NFL. He had 10 touchdowns. That was 6th in the NFL. First in quarterback rating on these throws, 124.1, and a PFF passing grade of 94.4. That ranked 4th. 2023 special, so long as Tua Tagovailoa is able to stay healthy. I get it. This offensive line, Connor Williams holding out is a concern. He is going to be on a 1-year contract. He is on a 1-year remaining contract because last season he signed a 2-year deal. Miami Dolphins got him for a steal, and he clearly outperformed his contract in year 1. He wants his money, understandably so, especially because he's playing a new position, the center position, and that because that's what Miami has needed. And if Connor's going to sit out, then things get spooky because you only have 2 guys that you can rely on, and Teron Armstead, who I say rely on because when he's on the field, he's one of the best left tackles in the game, but he is prone to missing time. Last season, he missed 4 games. The year before that, he missed more than half the season. I believe he only played 8 games, and that was the first year that we started to play 17. But Robert Hunt is the only other reliable option, and he really, where he thrives is really in the rushing blocking aspect of being an O-lineman. But really, the Dolphins are going to be one of the better teams in the AFC. I believe this is my team to win the AFC East. Simple as that.
So you're not concerned with like the games that mattered down the stretch, and he was bad.
So again, I acknowledge that. I acknowledged it. If you were listening to me, which you looked at me the entire time.
But you said you're
so
not concerned. So I just asked.
I say the one, I'm not concerned about this team. No, it's just a matter of so long as Tua can stay healthy. Because of course, when you have the concussion history, that's always something you have to keep in the back of your mind, for sure. But
that Chargers game was rough.
Year 2 now with Mike McDaniel, Tua now with the confidence to show that he is here. He is capable of being a high-level quarterback in the National Football League. He needed that confidence. It was shown. He had it. Yes, in December, we had a couple of rough games, but regardless of that fact, he was very good against the Bills. That week after against Green Bay, he was playing very well until the concussion happened, and then he was completely not himself, was benched the rest of the season. I fully expect him to be back so long as all is good in his mind.
What do you think, Riv? What do you think of this whole Tua stuff, man? You got some people think best quarterback in the league. Some people think Skylar Thompson can replace him.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? What do you make of it?
Mike White's on the roster now.
Mike White. They do have a competent backup.
Do you remember how last season I had to come up here and say, this is when he enters top 10 conversations? You guys were laughing at me. You guys
has he entered top 10 conversations?
Sure.
Top 10.
Like the conversation.
No, he's entered the conversation.
Fair.
I just wanted to be clear. I don't want to,
11,
And honestly, truly, Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy.
He was
the
healthy.
Miami Dolphins win the AFC
Healthy
East,
against the Chargers.
arguably the toughest division in
Chargers,
football. Arguably the toughest division in football. He wins this division. We're talking about an MVP candidate.
If you look at the Madden ratings, top 10. I think he's a 10th quarterback.
He was 10th.
He was number 10.
You know,
The
Trevor
Madden
Lawrence,
ratings were dog shit.
Trevor Lawrence was
Who
behind
had a
him.
better season
They
last year?
undersell
They
the
didn't have
quarterbacks.
Trevor Lawrence in the top 10. That was nuts.
Trevor Lawrence had a better season.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
Trevor had a better.
From weeks 9 onward, Trevor Lawrence was a top 3
Okay,
quarterback
so
in the
also
NFL.
that's when
And from
Tua
weeks
1
9
and 9,
on,
Tua was oh dear.
progressed tremendously.
Week 1 and
The
9.
first, yeah,
Tua
week
was-
1
missed
through
the last,
10,
what,
Tua
3
was
weeks of the
great.
season?
Weeks, whatever, the rest was bad.
Oh
10 through
man,
17,
listen, man. I'll just pray to the Allahs they keep him healthy. Them
For
concussions
real,
was
man.
really, really bad. 3 concussions
Three.
in a year. That's pretty nasty. Defense got better. Defense upgraded for sure. You bring in Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard. I saw something on Google that said
That site.
Kadir Koha will be in
Kohu.
Nickelback, and I heard he played really well. Looked up some stats, didn't look up no film, straight stats.
Love that.
They said he played well, very dependable. He will be in Nickelback. Drew,
He was a rookie last season. He had a
Yes.
decent coverage grade.
Drew, you didn't talk much about the Chargers in the Niners games. You kind of you glossed.
I said December was rough.
You glossed over the fact that those games he was really fucking awful.
I said that the Chargers game was his worst game of his career.
The Chargers,
you guys not fucking
no,
listen to me.
no, listen. I said you said it, but the Chargers schemed up pretty well, and I didn't think it was this high-powered, like, difficult scheme. I thought it was a really simple scheme that they schemed up against Tua, and Tua just couldn't do anything. I think offensively, you have to have some concerns because of the offensive line and how injury-prone Tua is. That concern always has to be there. And if one of those, like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill could be suspended for some time, short time, long time, we don't know. But
I don't think he'll get suspended.
I don't think so either. But even if he does, one guy goes out, that's a troubling thing for this team. And then your running game, you need to always have an elite running game to beat. Not elite, but you had to have a bit of a balance. Yeah, respectable.
You can't have a bottom three rush offense.
No, for sure.
I understand.
I think the Miami Dolphins, me and Joel was talking about it for like 2 minutes before. I think Miami would be at the top of the division. I think this division can easily have 3 teams make the playoffs. Miami would definitely be in the conversation for the number 1 team because the defense got better at pretty much almost every aspect. The line, linebackers, cornerbacks. Offensively, they were one of the best units in football when Tua was in the game and healthy. I'm not going to talk about the games he wasn't playing, but when Tua was healthy and he was in the games, you guys were easily one of the most explosive offenses in the game. I remember the game against the Ravens, you guys came back in the fourth quarter.
6 touchdowns.
Nuts. So you have
Batty
that.
shit.
You have that explosion. So Miami will always be there. I just think the main concern, this team probably has the most concern for me in terms of offensive line, because with Aaron, he can get it out quick. With Josh Allen, he can evade with
Tua
his
can
feet.
get the ball out quick as
Tua
well.
can also, but Tua scares me when he gets hit, because if he gets hit,
Understand. No, I
like
get
Josh
it.
Allen gets
I
hit, he
get it.
kind of gets up, walks it off because he's a big dude. Aaron really doesn't get hit, and even if he does, he kind of has shown that ability in his career to get over it. With Tua, it's kind of that scare factor that one bad hit could, put him down for the season.
He's taking jiu-jitsu classes now
Why?
to learn how to fall better.
Oh, really? That helps with that?
And dude, he's clearly put on
That's
some
interesting.
size as
Really?
well.
Yes.
It's
Jiu-jitsu
very
for that.
evident that he's put some meat on his bones to
That's good. That's
prepare for
good.
the NFL season.
That's very good.
I
But
know
yeah,
they can play.
I think Miami finishes 3.
Third?
Yeah, I think they finished 3rd.
See, that's the thing. For me, I can't see it that way. I look at both sides
There's
of
no
the
way
ball.
you cannot. You can see it both ways.
Yeah.
I only say that I look at both sides of the football.
You have the worst defense in the division. I'm not counting the
In the
Patriots.
division.
I'm not counting the
I
Patriots.
think all 4 defenses are going to be really good.
I'm saying that they're the worst, but they could still be
Top 10.
exactly.
I think all 4 defenses will be top 10.
I mean, I
Sure.
think all of us here, well, Dehls, me, and Riv, have this division really going either way. You're the only one that's
Yeah.
like, it's the Dolphins and
You think Dolphins
it's
are clearing?
a 3-team race.
Three-headed-
I could
yeah,
see
three-headed-
I could see any 3
three-headed
teams.
snake.
Exactly. I could see any 3 teams doing it.
I do believe that this is the Dolphins division. I understand where you're coming from. I am the only one proclamating that
I
fact.
think it's a clearing.
But I do
don't
believe
know
that
how
we
you
could have
be-
3 teams in
very
this
odd.
division.
I just
make
don't know how
the
you could be
playoffs.
so comfortable and it's like a 1-game difference between these 3 teams.
No, so I apologize because I said 10-11 before. When I was doing my schedule, this is 9-10. Again, like I said, I was leaning 10 games. That's what
That's
I
for
have here.
Buffalo?
That's for Buffalo.
Okay.
For the Jets, similar 9-10 games, and I say I lean more 10.
Okay.
For the Dolphins, I feel the
11,
most.
12,
I
lean
feel
12.
those the most correct. It's 11.
So
12.
basically, 12 wins for the Dolphins, 9 wins for the Jets.
Again,
and the
12
Bills.
10.
for the way that you were
I'm
having the
going lower
conversation.
bar.
You're saying 12 versus 10. That's what you're saying?
Correct, and that's
Or
the
12
difference.
versus 9.
Because again,
Yeah.
I do believe that
12
we can
makes
have
sense.
3
NFL.
teams in this division make the playoffs. I'm not here slandering the Jets. I'm not here slandering the Bills too strongly. I do have my reservations, but again, that's still a playoff team to me. I'm speaking harshly because that's what happens when you talk about high level teams. You got to nitpick to a
But
degree.
what gives you the sole confidence that Dolphins can win 12 and the Jets and the Bills will get only 10-9?
I say that because I look at both sides of the football and I feel like this is the most complete team of the 3.
Oh,
It's
Miami.
not. The
The Jets
Jets'
can
offense is
be.
better. The defense is
arguable.
better too.
The
they're all
Dolphins were
close.
the Dolphins when Tua was on were the number 1 ranked offense
Until
in
they
the football
faced
league.
The toughest schedule.
Again,
of the-
in December they definitely
The
struggled.
Bills are the only team with a top 5 in both categories.
For sure. But we see what happens when, again, they faced the Dolphins and they lost. They let the Dolphins put up 29 points against them later on in the season. That's when Tua was struggling in December. He had his best game against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
It's just still average.
Against the Jets, he did not play them.
It was. I'm sorry, it was. It was average.
Yeah,
You only
come
say
on,
that.
bro.
It was.
He only
Yeah,
says
yeah,
that
it
because
was
the EPA tells him that he had a negative EPA against the
I mean,
Bills.
his biggest
He had-
plays
he had
were
solid-
underthrows and
Jalen Waddle.
yeah,
Merchant.
like come on, like what are you talking about?
Jalen Waddle merchant, right?
I mean, listen, I
Tyreek
think
said he'll break 2,000 yards next
I
year.
saw that.
I
Good
think
for him.
objectively, the Dolphins have the toughest start and finish to the schedule than the Bills and the Jets. Objectively
How do they
speaking,
start? Because the
they
Jets
start-
are hard as fuck.
they start versus the Chargers, the Patriots, Denver, Buffalo, New York, and then it softens up with Carolina. But then they have Philadelphia, New England, and Kansas City.
I think our start is harder because we get Kansas City and Philly early. They get them late.
And then their last 4 games are New York, Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo.
That is tough.
And they have a week 14 game against Tennessee. And Tennessee's a team that you can't count out either because
Yeah.
they're always in the game.
Even with all that, and I understand where you're coming from because I don't want to sound too hard headed because I push back on you with the same thing when we had the Jets conversation. That Chargers game will be tough. I think that week 1, the Dolphins have something to prove. I think they come out with a W there against New
It's in
England.
Miami or
No, it's in LA, but that's not really a home game. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
still going across country.
but it's week 1. It's week
They'll
1.
probably
That's
be
not
No, I
bad.
understand what you're
Still
saying.
going across
So
country.
then against New
Same
England,
weather too, you know.
Tua has not lost to New England.
Nah,
He is undefeated.
This will be the first time.
Nah, they'll beat
That's
New
if you're
England.
staying
New England
optimistic.
sucks.
I have them beating Denver, and that's saying something. Denver's
In
my
Denver?
team. No, that's in Miami.
I like that.
Okay, at Buffalo, I have them losing week 4 against the Giants and Carolina back to back. That's wins for me.
Valid.
Losing at
It's not going to be tough outings though.
No, I think the game against the Giants, just because regardless, Giants just play well regardless. I think that'll be a good game. Carolina.
Just walked over it though before with us.
Yeah, with the Jets, there was
No,
a,
I don't know about
New York. With us, you was like, they're tough.
I'll let you guys get
I
your
don't know
hot
about the
vibes out.
Giants, man.
I get it. Listen, Giants are definitely a respectable team. Any week it'll be a tough game, but obviously they can lose games. And I think that against the Dolphins, they'll give them a good game, but I think that the
I think
Dolphins
the
will come out
Dolphins
on
win
top.
too, yes.
Carolina, same thing. Good team, good defensive unit.
They should.
I
be
think
good.
that the
They should
Dolphins.
win.
I think the Dolphins will win both those back to back. At Philly, that's a loss. Versus New England, this team I feel confident that they can win both of them.
I agree.
The Jets is different because they haven't been able to beat them in 14 tries. With the Dolphins,
That 14
I
is
mean
so
that's not. It's not no
crazy, yo.
disrespect. It's just what's truth.
14
Tua has
is
not
man.
lost to
I mean,
New
it's- but
England
there's
and
not-
Bill
I think it
Belichick.
can happen.
For sure.
I think
I
they should.
guess.
I think they.
You guys should sweep though.
I have versus KC. This is in Miami. This is still a loss. Then they hit their bye week versus Vegas. That's a W. At the Jets, I did the courtesy. They're
think it
splitting
splits.
here. At Washington, does not matter to me. That's a-
Washington sneak like their defense.
I
is
get it.
great,
I'm not
man.
going to say you're wrong, but the
They're
offense is
Washington.
mid.
They
The
should-
offense is
yeah,
mid.
The
They-
offense sucks.
the
Yeah,
Gi-
that's-
the-
So they can hold the team. The defense.
Dolphins-
is
What if
elite.
Sam Howell is good though?
I
Your
still
offensive
believe.
line
I believe.
is not good. Washington
It's-
can cause some havoc.
It's
Yeah.
not bad when it's healthy.
Miami should beat them.
Just
Yeah, they
those
should.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last 6 games from a defensive line versus offensive line perspective, it's very.
This is what
tough.
I say. Tennessee's secondary is ass. They will light them up. The Jets, this is where the split happens. I do believe that the Dolphins win this one versus Dallas. This is in Miami. Great game. I can see that going either way, which is why I have the 11-12. Then at Baltimore, this is a loss for me versus Buffalo week 18. This is in Miami. That's a W.
I think that's fair.
That schedule doesn't sound horrible.
It's not a hard
I mean,
schedule.
they play-
There's some good teams, but I have
think
them losing
Dallas
to the
takes
good
that
teams.
They
game.
play basically the same
Yeah.
teams everyone plays in
Yeah.
the AFC East outside of a couple.
I'm not gonna push back too hard on you thinking they're gonna beat the Chargers in week 1. Your line of reasoning was they have something to prove.
My
I
line
can-
of
so the
reasoning also.
Chargers.
Well,
Is that
fair.
game in
Yeah,
Dallas?
that's what I was
But-
gonna argue. I
but
can argue the
what's-
Chargers have
what's-
more to prove.
what's the? I disagree here for this point. That
Just blew a lead.
in my opinion,
They
okay,
got
you know what?
swept.
I apologize. That's a very
Yeah, I
fair
forgot
point.
they
That's
did that.
facts. But the way that I see it is, what's Tua's most embarrassing moment of last season? That game
That's
against
valid.
the
So you're
Chargers.
expecting him to.
So they both have the
You,
equal.
you have to come out week 1 and set the tempo. This could be
Is
that.
that Dallas game home?
That Dallas game is in Miami.
Yeah, it's
correct.
So you're
Yeah.
expecting Tua to play well against a defense he struggled most against, where Brandon Staley has an entire offseason to game plan and scheme
Mike
for the
McDaniel
offense.
also has.
Mike
He
McDaniel is
also
also one of the
has-
best play
yes.
callers in the game.
Hey,
But
that
also
Mike
when the
Parsons game
when
was
also when the
tough.
Chargers are at their healthiest too in the
That's a
beginning of the
fact.
season, Justin Herbert, yeah, I know it can go either way.
Yeah.
Listen,
We'll
I
see,
think
last
the
2
Dolphins.
seasons that's Tua started at quarterback. That's a W.
I don't think you guys beat Dallas.
It could go.
No,
either
I don't
way.
have them beating.
I don't
You're saying
know.
week one is
Oh
gonna
yeah, I
be
do
a
have
W?
them.
being
I do.
Dallas,
But you're
yeah.
saying
I don't
week
know,
one has been a
bro.
W for the Dolphins last two
Last 2
seasons?
seasons, both against the Patriots.
Doesn't mean much to me, man.
Oh.
My goodness.
I mean,
the
14.
The
Patriots-
Mets are always
Oh, and
great.
It's a
14.
division.
No.
0-14.
No, I think the biggest question it's Tua, because last year was a tale of two halves, right? Those first 8 weeks of the season, weeks 1 to 9, completed 70% of his passes, averaged 280 yards, 15 touchdowns with 3 picks. Dolphins went 6-1. Of course, he had concussions during that. He was
And
in
then
that
the
lineup.
weather got chilly.
Then weeks 10 to 16, he missed those last 2 weeks, completed 59% of his passes, still 260 yards, 10 touchdowns to 5 picks. That's still solid. And the Dolphins went 2-4. So I understand. You should have all the optimism in the world. Like,
I am.
there is a world where the Dolphins are the most complete team in the league. Their offense is that explosive. Their defense with Vic Fangio can be a top 3 unit, top 5 unit in the league. You're just banking on. And listen, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets have their own questions. I think Josh Allen, I don't think we have many questions about
no.
that. But out of all these teams, you can make the argument that Tua is the biggest question mark out of all these quarterbacks, of course, outside of Mac Jones, because can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
When he's playing top competition, is he going to elevate? When the weather does get cold and it's snowy in Buffalo or whatever, it's raining, whatever it might be, how is he going to be the same Tua we see in the first couple months of the season?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only reason I have them with 10 wins. That's the only reason why the tiebreaker for all these 3 teams was I feel most confident in Josh Allen. Below that is Aaron Rodgers, because we still have to see how this is going to work. I know he's used to Hackett, but we still have to see it. And Tua still has those barriers to overcome. He's had those high highs where he has the 6 touchdowns, 400 yards against Baltimore, but I can't just escape those low lows. When he's playing top-tier competition,
Yeah.
I haven't seen him overcome that yet.
I understand where you're coming from. I'll say this. Last season, statistically, because, of course, talent, it's Aaron Rodgers. Statistically, Tua was arguably better than Rodgers. And that was with four
yes.
less games. Statistically, I'm taking Tua Tagovailoa over Aaron Rodgers.
That was with an exponentially better supporting
I
cast,
won't
so-
say you're wrong.
I mean,
won't say you're
statistically,
wrong.
Tua is clearing
Correct.
Mahomes. He's clearing
No,
Burrow.
that's not true.
Not
No,
clearing
he's
Mahomes.
not true.
No, he's and
He's
you
clearing Hurts.
You
No, he was first in
you
like
see
12 categories.
OD, there
Like,
is
it's
like 10
wow.
categories where Tua is number 1 and across
Like
the
it's just
board.
one.
That's why, like, the stats is great and all, and Tua's a good quarterback, but you can't just take that for what it is, because he definitely had a better statistical season than Rodgers. Not close.
That's exactly why I preface it saying statistical, because, of course, when it comes to the eye test, when it comes to actual talent, we're talking about a 4-time MVP, was coming off back-to-back MVPs prior to this last season, where he was playing with one of his worst supporting casts that we've seen in some time. However, understanding that the Jets group skill position group is better, that is saying that Breece Hall is back healthy. I'm talking about in comparison to the Green Bay Packers, but let's not talk about Christian Watson like he's a slouch. He's
Not
definitely
Garrett Wilson.
he's not Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's definitely the better player.
And
Christian
he
Watson,
was hurt for
he
the
was-
first like 2 months.
Hey, Joel,
doubt
even
it took him
Allen
some
Lazard,
time.
Who?
Christian Watson.
Oh, he
right?
No,
clears.
Christian Watson's better.
He clears.
No, he's significantly
Just
better.
had to ask. He dropped a lot of passes.
But
You
I'll
gotta
say
ask
this
He
again,
cleaned it up
with
early.
He
with
cleaned it
Aaron
up.
Rodgers, Garrett Wilson will be better than what Christian
The
Watson was.
Packers
But-
finished 9-8.
But again, Aaron Jones, Dylan obviously that's a great 1-2 punch. If Breece Hall is healthy, it's a different conversation. But I do have concerns about the pieces not named Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall.
I guess so, but with the Dolphins, you can say I have concerns with the pieces not named Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
I'll argue with this. Raheem Mostert obviously he's not the
I
best
think
running back
Zonovan
by
Knight is
any
better
means.
than him.
Jeff Wilson, when he was playing, was very good.
Yeah,
When Jeff Wilson was playing, he was very
The scheme
good.
is too good for whatever running back's going to be there. They're
Shane.
going to.
But if
My
you take
Mojo
the 2
guy.
best players on any team, you can be like, yeah, outside of them, I don't.
Yeah, it's like
It gets tricky.
He's, bro.
No way he weighs less than me. That's actually embarrassing.
Devon A. Chain.
He's saying.
No way.
No, he's like 180.
He's 187.
Oh, okay, thank God. That would have been bad.
Listen,
What are you,
I think.
180?
Listen,
188 flat. Okay.
I think the argument you're making for the Dolphins is
Sound.
sound.
McDonald's away. He's
You're
gonna-
you're all in on Tua. You're all in on the Dolphins. There's an argument to be all in
There's just
on
no
them.
optimism on your side, you know?
What I'm saying though, to
That's
kind
fair.
of that.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot of optimism with the Jets, understandably so.
Yeah,
He wasn't that optimistic.
we don't have to
No.
comfortably win the
Yeah,
division.
he
Nobody
was very
does.
no,
safe.
no.
He was
But I
safe.
only say that because I already have a year of seeing what this offense, what this team can be. And that's
Against
but
bad
that's what
teams.
again, the Bills, they beat them early in the season prior
It
to
was
to a
7,000 degrees.
What I'm
that
getting
day.
at is that
okay,
you
and it
have
was
an
cold
argument.
and it was and Tua came off the field winning the game. And that's because Josh Allen
What
was
does
Josh,
that even mean?
he came off the field. The last time he touched the field, he was winning.
Oh, you talk about the second game?
Correct.
The first game, all right. I mean, you could have that one.
And Tua had a concussion, still came back and won that game.
That first game, Buffalo Bills had.
You could say it was 5,000 degrees.
No, everybody was subbing in and out.
Tua came back from a concussion and still won that game.
He didn't have to do much.
He threw I believe he had a.
He threw a great pass.
I was going
No,
to
he
say
did.
Jalen Waddle over the middle of the
He
field.
was barely on the field. The Buffalo Bills had offensive linemen going in and out to go get water and to drench themselves because it was so hot.
The Bills
Sounds like a
definitely were like
crazy
he was just
excuse.
advantage.
Yeah,
They had a
Tua
lot of
had
guys
a
out.
concussion.
No, I'm saying the Bills just coming into the game. They
No,
had a lot
no,
of
I
guys out.
understand.
yeah,
Trey
but
White didn't
Miami
play.
Miami as a team didn't have this insane. Like the Buffalo team was literally
And
dying
they
out there.
do that shit where you sit on the away side where
Yeah,
the
the sun was
on you.
beaming
That
on
shit,
their
I'll be
face.
honest, they're smart for that.
Yeah,
though. They're
they are
smart for that.
What I'm telling you though is that there's an argument to be all in on every team in the AFC East not named the Patriots.
Facts.
I get
There's
you.
an argument to be all in on the Bills.
Can you
even
be all
with-
in on the Bills?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Best quarterback.
Is it for the sole fact
Top
that
three
Josh Allen's
defense.
Josh Allen?
It's the defense is
Stephon
elite.
Diggs, yeah.
The defense is very good,
Wait,
but
look,
I'm tired of
I'm-
seeing
no,
it
no.
year in, year out
This is-
collapse.
No,
this
no,
is
I'm
the
biggest
tired.
moments.
Wait, hold up. What collapse? I'm tired of
Against
you
the
using all
Chiefs?
these Tua top of the league stats when he collapsed down the season.
I
The
already
Bills
told you.
defense collapsed in the season. Now
There we
we're
go.
talking about their
Listen,
defense is
he,
not
he
great.
already mentioned it to you in the weeks that he struggled. He still had a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
Now versus the
59% passes.
versus who? The Niners and the
Niners,
Chargers.
Chargers.
That's a two-horse
Well,
game.
Against all of them,
Weeks,
against all
weeks
of
10
them,
through 7 or 16.
he gave you the statistics in those games where he still was the worst that he was all season long. He still had a 2-to-1 touchdown
Weeks
interception
10
ratio.
through 17.
16. He missed
16.
those last two.
How many games did he play?
I could check.
But what I'm saying is that you cannot
Listen,
say.
are you calling Joel Stats fallacy?
Well,
I'm saying
they
that
went
the-
2 and 4, so I'm assuming
I'm saying
6
that
games.
the two games are the Chargers and the Niners game where he struggled immensely. The Bills game, he was average. That's what I'm saying. And sure, 2-to-1. I don't know what the exact stats were. All I know is
6
that he
games.
was horrible in those games.
He was not horrible in the fucking Bills game.
Okay, yeah, you're right. He was average.
He was
Sorry,
not,
he was average.
and he was
He was
not
solid.
horrible.
the
in
Bills
the-
game. The Bills game, he completed 57% of his passes for 230
Oh,
yards,
yeah.
2 picks,
Elite
no
numbers.
interceptions.
It was snowing.
Those are what did Josh Allen do in the snow?
He had a great
What did
second
he do?
half. He had a great second half.
I'll check. Let me see.
He is Josh Allen. So
In the
He
snow, I
loves
want to
the-
know what
he
happened.
loves the
am
snow.
I here saying that Tua is better than Josh Allen?
No, what I'm
Josh
here saying
Allen,
is that
300 yards, 4 touchdowns.
That's
no
his
picks.
weather. He loves.
Oh
the-
my
he
goodness.
That's his weather. He
No,
loves
what
playing.
I'm
Which
this-
is
saying-
why it's crazy.
Yeah.
Against the Bengals, he was cheeks.
Drew,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that you are giving me an argument that the Bills are not an elite defense because maybe in 1 or 2 games they let an offense score on them, but for the entirety of the season they've been elite. But your argument for Tua being elite is these stats across the league, but you're not knocking his worst games and saying, you know what, he
I
might not
am.
be elite
I am
because
doing
of
that.
these stats.
I am doing that
against the great
Because,
teams,
again,
against the great defense.
I'm saying I believe in Tua's abilities for sure, but I am here highlighting. When I spoke initially, I would just love if every now and then when I'm speaking, giving my monologue, that
We're
you guys
sorry,
would
bro.
just tune in. Just because, of course,
I'm
I've
tuned in.
highlighted with the December games. We can talk about the Niners, how he
Yeah.
struggled terribly against the Chargers. Like I said, in my opinion, it's his worst game by far. And he struggled against the Titans, and he struggled his rookie season against the Bills. In my opinion, because there was expectation against the Chargers, that's his worst game. I said all that. I'm not here glossing over it. But again, am highlighting that he bounced back, in my opinion, against the Bills. And then against Green Bay in the first half, he was fucking perfect until the concussion happened. And then he followed it up with 3 INTs.
But Drew, can you not like?
So Tua is a great quarterback to you.
And by easily, that's an easy statement.
So why aren't the Bills a great defense?
The reason why they're not a great defense to me is because the secondary is sketchy. The safeties are great, but the
The
corners
secondary
are
ranked top
questionable.
5.
They were banged
last
up
year.
last year.
Understandable, but the
Kyrie Lemieux
corners-
too. Trey
Yes.
White.
Teron
Hernandez.
Johnson's one of the better slots in the league.
Okay,
Denver was
again,
high last year.
It's
No-
the
Yeah, I
safeties
know.
that you can trust. It's the corners that are the issue. When it comes to to their front seven, it's very good, but that is also dependent on how Von Miller is going to come back.
Yeah.
Because we also saw in the playoffs that against the Dolphins, it was more so that they were turning the ball over. They were playing a little bit loosey-goosey, but they gave up points to a third-string quarterback.
With Miami's defense, though, outside of Ramsey and Javon Holland, who can you trust in the secondary?
Xavier Howard.
You said
He's
Xavier
just coming
Howard
off a
had one of his
bad-
down
like a
years.
really bad
But
year.
again, I highlighted
Can't
that
you-
he is not going to be playing against the wide receiver ones. He's going to be going
Was he
against number
shadowing
2.
last year?
I
don't think he
probably
was.
would assume
And
that
then in
he
Miami's front seven, who do you trust more than Von Miller, even off an injury?
Well, the Bills,
more
Dolphins
than
front
Von-
7 is legit.
I was going to say,
no,
the
I'm saying,
Browns.
I'm saying, who do you
Wilkins.
trust over Von Miller off
Christian
an injury?
Wilkins.
No, there's
So-
no one that you can trust over Von Miller for the sole fact
yeah,
that
you
he's
can.
an all-time. Phillips.
right now at this stage in career, Jalen Phillips.
Just because I say Von Miller I don't
was-
want
he was
to
a-
say he was
yeah, I know,
defensive
I
player
know,
of the
but
year last season,
he
of
was
course,
great
but that's
last
the
year.
level that he was
I
playing
understand
at.
both arguments. What I'm saying though is that
Now,
Trey
Phillips,
White-
Wilkins, and Chubb, that's an amazing trio right there.
Trey White isn't matching up against wide receiver ones. The Bills are a very zone heavy defense.
For sure.
It's not, and Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are two of the top 5 safeties in the league. Trey White,
Did one of
even
them
if
get
he
hurt? Am I
doesn't get
bugging?
back to his top 10 level,
Poyer
Trey
played
White's
12
not going to
games.
be a horrible
It's not a
corner.
slouch.
He's going to be a good corner. Teron Johnson's a good corner. Kyrie Elam.
I'm not saying that
last
they're
year's
bad.
rookie.
I'm not saying that they're a bad defense. I'm saying that I don't trust the defense.
You don't trust defense, but that does not mean they're not
Micah
great.
Hyde played
They
2
are
games
great,
last
and every
year.
All right.
stat proves
All right.
it.
Listen, I could level here, but again, the 2 biggest games of the season last year, the defense was not great.
And the 2
playoffs?
biggest Tua games of the season, he was not great.
Again, against the Bills.
So
he
how
was
can you say
very
Tua
good.
is not
my
great, but the
opinion.
Bills defense is not great?
Okay, you
That's
can
what
have
I'm saying.
bad. You can. All right, fair. Because here I am saying you can have bad moments, but still be great. That was the Bills, but that was also in the biggest games of the season. In my opinion, he bounced back off his 2 worst games of the season against the Bills, comes off the field, winning the football game, and then against Green Bay is playing borderline perfect until the concussion occurs.
To be fair, the playoffs and the regular season.
Agreed. We've seen teams be unbelievable in the regular season, come to the playoffs and be mediocre. Pittsburgh Steelers,
Hot take.
Buffalo Bills.
Hot take. I think the Bills, their foot was off the gas against the Dolphins in the playoff game a little bit because they knew who they were.
They were
getting
up big
cute.
early.
They were getting cute.
Yeah, like they were dominating the game, and then they let them come back.
Were they foot off the gas for the Bengals?
No,
they
they
got
foot
smoked.
never
No.
started.
They got
No,
smoked.
Bengals
They
is just a great
got
team,
smoked.
but sometimes you play down to your competition, and against the Dolphins, they were dominating that game early
Wait, so
on.
your
They
whole
just kinda let them come back.
premises is solely on that Bengals game?
And the
Mostly
Dolphins.
the last 2 games of the
So the playoff
Playoffs,
games, because
correct.
throughout the regular
Regular
season, they
season.
were elite.
and
Yeah.
also the year prior that 13 seconds left on the clock,
Oh,
you're
bro.
still not able to stop them. It's
Against
essentially the
Mahomes.
same unit.
against
Yeah,
Mahomes.
but all right,
Chiefs.
all right.
To be honest, if it's
I-
Mahomes, I let it.
I'm sorry.
All right.
We're excusing 13
No,
seconds.
we're not. I'm with you.
I'll
13
be
seconds
honest,
is crazy.
Mahomes.
We
All
just seen
right.
the top-
Blazing is crazy.
We just
He's
seen
the
the
best
Eagles' top
quarterback in
defense in the
NFL
league get
history.
smoked by them.
What are we doing here? Like,
But 13 seconds, we're giving them a pass for that. I don't care if you're. Come on.
I'm not.
I don't wanna get
It's not that you
blasphemous.
give it
You
pass.
don't give
but
them a
it's-
pass, but you understand why.
it's
13
like-
seconds is still
No,
fucking insane,
no,
bro. Like,
No.
Like I'm not saying that they shouldn't have made a play, but before the Super Bowl, I was over here saying that the Eagles were going to neutralize the Chiefs, and they lit them up.
Well, also the turf was pretty fraudulent. I'll say that.
Okay,
Couldn't get any push.
Oh yeah, let's play that game. Come on, get out of here.
It's a nasty dap.
I'll say this: Eagles, Patriots, and then we'll move on to the Patriots. Very good point because we're aligned. Hey, talking about the Patriots, let's talk about them. That Super Bowl, Philly versus New England. It was one of the highest scoring offensive games that we've seen in Super Bowl
Did we put a
history.
40 on them?
Brady, I believe, I'm pretty sure he still has the record, 505 yards in a Super Bowl game. The Philadelphia defense was atrocious.
Well, against the
But
Chiefs,
what
we
did it
choked.
do? What did it do? It got a stop. They forced a fumble. Just one stop is all they needed. That's all the Bills had to do against the Chiefs. A historic performance from Tom Brady. A historic performance from Patrick Mahomes. You just need to give me one. And they couldn't.
Sometimes you just
I'm
got
not
to.
excusing that.
Sometimes you just got to credit the offense and the play that's made, though.
Oh, no. Listen, you give praise to the Chiefs because what the fuck? 13 seconds. You're able to put points on the board and send to OT. That's praise to Mahomes. That's praise to the Chiefs. Praise to Travis Kelce. But also, let's criticize where it's due. That's irresponsible. 13 seconds and you let them get in field goal range? What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I guess my whole thing is that if you're saying the Bills aren't great off of the 2 worst moments, then you cannot then be critical of somebody else saying Tua is not great off of his 2 worst moments.
I understand.
And be like, oh, you're just judging off his 2 worst moments. How is he
Again,
not
that's
great?
what I'm saying. I'm leveling with you because
Okay.
what you're saying is what I'm saying, so I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I can definitely meet you in the middle there. So I can have my concerns, you can have yours. So we're saying the same thing. We're just on different sides.
Okay. Patriots prediction and the preview. Is Bill Belichick on the hot seat?
I know you want to start with Joel.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
forgot
I-
this is my
I
topic.
need-
Right?
This is Dell's topic.
I need-
You can't steal it from Dell.
Doesn't care.
Joel, please do
Oh,
me the
shit.
solid.
Okay.
Hear me out.
All right.
Can we hear his logic for making this a topic?
I would love to hear it.
Thank you.
But a logic for making it a topic is that there is known tension between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick.
Best of all time.
2 years ago, the Patriots spent an NFL high $291 million in free agency, and that huge free agency spending spree led to these amazing players: Matt Judon, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Jalen Mills, and Nelson Aguilar. That offseason has put the Patriots back. Because of that offseason, they have not been able to re-sign key players. They are 18-16 since one embarrassing playoff loss against the Bills. They're not able to stop high-powered offense. Bill Belichick, I think, is on a hot seat. I think if the Patriots win 6 games, which looking at the schedule, it's very possible, there's a chance Bill Belichick is not back. Is Bill Belichick one of the best coaches of all time? There is no doubt. Can you argue his conservative nature, his inability to draft skill position players has put the Patriots on the decline, is a big reason why Tom Brady left the franchise? You can argue that. Can you argue that his conservative nature offensively and hiring Matt Patricia as a play caller cost the Patriots? You can argue that. It's not insane to say that Bill Belichick won't be on the Patriots much longer. I do think this season is more about Mac Jones than Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick is not going to get off the hook. He has done amazing things in his league, but it's a what have you done for me recently league, not what have you done for me now. Bill Belichick has had years without Tom Brady, and in those years, you have the Cam Newton season, you have the playoff appearance season where in the playoffs they could not keep up, and then
With the rookie quarterback, they make the playoffs.
yes, and then this
Can
year,
stop Josh Allen once.
this year you had this past
Josh Allen.
season, they weren't very good.
Not once.
Josh Allen, I believe, went 9 touchdowns, 0
I
INTs.
know, not once.
No one did. No one stopped
No, I'm
Josh
saying
Allen.
a single drive.
No, I
Oh,
understand.
the Patriots
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
Yeah, that shit was bad.
Single drive.
Did the Chiefs stop him almost at all?
No, they didn't.
At least one drive, no?
No.
Oh.
It went back and forth the entire game.
Ridiculous.
I thought they got at least one.
No.
Because the Bills put up
That's
Because
why-
remember, how many
40
fourth
something.
downs did Josh Allen convert?
No, but that's why I don't blame the Bills for what the Chiefs did, because nobody's getting to stop the entire game. This season, more about Mac Jones.
Nah, not
As a
getting stopped
rookie,
is crazy.
I know that you're saying, oh, with the rookie quarterback, they made the playoffs. Josh McDaniels is credited a lot with that. And the offensive philosophy changed a lot. As a rookie, Mac Jones was very play action reliant. I was high on Mac Jones coming out of college. I thought he was going to be a good system quarterback, and I still think he is, but he's definitely limited, and he's not somebody that I think can reach the upper echelon. He doesn't have the talent to. He's going to be around where he's going to be. This season is about seeing what they have in Mac Jones. Very play action heavy quarterback, someone who is not aggressive down the field. You can say that the receivers aren't there, and I think that's a valid excuse because he doesn't have a bunch of weapons at his disposal, but he's also somebody that out of structure can create in the pocket. He doesn't always make the best decisions. And the Patriots last season, they won against these quarterbacks. Zach Wilson twice, Mitch Trubisky, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, Sam Ehlinger, Colt McCoy, and the tandem of Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson. The Patriots are not going to go 500. The Patriots,
I agree.
I think their ceiling this year is winning 6 games.
I agree.
I think the most games they win this year is 6 games. They have the most difficult schedule in the NFL. And yes, I think if they have a bad season, I think Mac Jones' job at quarterback is at risk. And I think Bill Belichick is the head coach. I mean, he's the one that opened the door for Tom Brady to walk out of it. He's the one that wanted to replace Tom Brady, somebody who, after he left New England, won a championship with Jimmy Garoppolo about 3 years before that. There is tension within the organization with Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's conservative nature, I don't think, is something that is going to succeed in the NFL at this point. Unless you get a high enough pick to draft one of those game-changing quarterbacks, which we know is difficult. But I think at this point in Bill Belichick's career, I know what he's done and I know what he brings defensively, but we also have to admit that defensively, the best performances come against rookie or inexperienced quarterbacks. And when he's facing actual great quarterbacks, the defense gets violated.
So he's been an AFC East merchant going up against Dolphins haven't had good quarterbacks. Jets haven't had good quarterbacks. Bills outside Josh Allen not good quarterbacks.
I think the entire Patriots have. Yeah. The AFC East has been
merchant.
The AFC
Crazy.
East has been the most incompetent division for a long time. It has been.
It has been.
How long are you saying he's been doing that for?
Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick.
So 2021, you want to just?
I think Bill Belichick from 2018 to now, the track record is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And
Okay.
I went back.
The track record.
the
Since
Chiefs-
2018.
What?
Bill Belichick's a defensive-minded head coach. Of course, we're talking about one of the best defensive minds in the history of the game, correct? So how can it be
He beat the Chargers.
that, since 2018, his track record's not great, but in terms of points let up and ranking of defense, in 2018, that team was 7th in terms of points given up, number 1 in 2019, 7th in 2020, and that was post Tom Brady. Second last season, that was 2 seasons ago, I should say, excuse me, the year that they made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. And then last year, 11th.
Okay, bro.
They're not great. They don't show up for the biggest moments.
Isn't
The
that funny?
biggest games are
Wasn't
not
I,
good.
Warren, I was just saying this about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'm just trolling you right now.
All right, just making
I
sure.
don't- The problem with Bill is not the defense. The problem with Bill is offensively, he was not able to surround Tom Brady. He whiffed on the draft repeatedly, and now he's doing the same thing.
He whiffed on the draft, but there was still expectation for N'Keal Harry when Cam Newton was the quarterback, correct?
I guess so, but that's still a whiff.
Now, they drafted Rob Gronkowski. He ended up becoming the best tight end of all time. Aaron Hernandez and this whole situation that transpired after that was more unfortunate than not. He was supposed to be a star, coincided with Rob Gronkowski.
Since
as well.
2018, though,
He
I'm
was.
talking about.
I'm just letting you know
Say
this is a
post
track
that.
record with
What's post them? Give me a skill position
listen,
player.
I'm not gonna-
Ramondre. Okay.
for sure. Damian Harris is another one.
He's not even on the team no more.
He had double-digit touchdowns one season. That's also when they were one of the best rush offenses in the game, and that's also a credit to Josh McDaniel, a protege of Bill Belichick, a youngling under Bill Belichick, of course, because he's offensive and Bill Belichick's defensive. Julian Edelman was a
7th-round pick.
a 7th-round pick, then turning into a potential Hall of Famer.
That's what.
And yes, that's mostly because of Tom Brady, but you're just asking me players that were given to Tom Brady. Tom Brady makes a majority of these guys better for sure. I'm not going to say it's not. Chris Hogan
He's
would
on the
be one
field,
of those.
I mean,
No
yeah,
doubt.
We're
But
talking about
I'm-
like 10 years ago, though.
But you're telling me recent. Listen, of course, N'Keal Harry was supposed to be a hit. They still were able to win a
So wait,
Super Bowl
can I ask a
when
question?
drafting Sony Michel in the first round. Go ahead.
If we're giving Tom Brady the nod for improving these guys that they put on the field, right, that they draft, shouldn't Mac get flacked in for not improving the guys that they draft? And
I
putting on
say
the field?
no
He's
because
not
there's
a
just levels.
riser.
It's-
Yeah.
And I get the question you're trying to say, but again, it's levels. It's Tom Brady.
Mhm.
You have players that make mediocre guys above average. You're looking at
So is that
Tom
really
Brady.
Bill's fault,
You're
though?
looking-
I like Mac. Mac's
It's
rookie
not.
year put up great
He
numbers.
did.
He with nobody. This year was bad, or this past year was bad, but he had Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as
You can
offensive
say
coordinator-
Bill
offensive
Belichick
coordinator.
That was the
sabotaged
fault.
him. He
I
said
won't say that.
since
That was the fault.
2019, these have been the skill position players they've drafted. N'Keal Harry in the first
Yes,
round,
Sony Michel in the
Damian
first.
Harris in the third round since 2019.
Got it.
I'm saying Sony Michel was
Sorry.
2018.
Yep.
2020, it was
That tight end class.
Devin
Hey,
Asiasi
hey,
and
but-
Dalton Keenan in the
But
third
please
round.
mention how Sony Michel was integral in them winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Sony Michel is good.
I'm just saying that
He
was a
was,
skill
yeah.
position player.
They
He had
won in
like a year
2018.
or two.
They beat the Rams.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sony Michel, but I'm saying since 2019 though. 2020 they tried to draft
because
they-
that's the year you started. So 2018.
You did start
Right.
2018.
I mean, if you want to take the Sony Michel, dub,
Nah,
it's like-
Sony was mid.
Yeah, yeah,
Sony was
cool.
mid. Sony was
cool,
mid.
cool. Yeah, he was.
But
like,
he was great in
he
the
had
run.
one good
He was,
year.
That's
he
it. Yeah.
was.
But the offense only scored like what 13 points in that
14
Super
In that
Bowl?
Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, 14-7, 13.
In 2020, they tried a 2 tight end combination and
That
try to
shit was
revive the
ass.
Gronk and Aaron
Ben
Hernandez thing.
Watson, right? Something like
Devin
that.
Asiasi and
Oh, got
Dalton Keene, they
Uh-huh.
were
Yeah,
not
they're
good.
not. I don't know if they're in the league.
They're not even starters. Then in 2021, you draft Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson,
That's
Two
double.
you know,
bangers.
Trey Nixon in the 7th round, and 20. I wouldn't call Mac Jones a banger. It was a good
They
pick.
made the playoffs in year one.
Sure, but it was a good pick. Are we looking back and saying, "Wow, that's a banger pick"?
For pick
If
15.
no, if you would have put him with some weapons, like if he would have went to San Francisco, I'd be like, that was a good pick.
Sure, sure.
But
he was
went
number,
8-9
I
this
believe
year.
what he was number 2 in Rookie of the Year. He lost to I don't want to. I don't want to be wrong here.
I'm fixated on the word banger.
Jamar Chase was the Rookie of the Year.
probably,
Yes.
yeah.
He was pick
Yeah.
15.
Like
How
I,
many-
I think 5 years from now we'll be like, "Yo, Mac Jones is an all right pick." I don't think we're gonna be like, "That's a banger."
I
Yeah,
mean, for
he's gonna
pick
be a high-level
15, and there
game
was how
manager.
many quarterbacks taken above him?
2022, it was Cole Strange on the offensive line. He's a good player.
Uh-huh.
You know, they've done a good job with offensive
They
linemen.
have-
Taekwon Thornton, huge question mark right now.
That's not fair. He missed
Pierre
the first how
Strong
many
and
weeks
Kevin
of the
Harris.
season?
Yeah, but what was Taekwon Thornton's claim to being drafted
He's
that
fast
high?
as fuck.
It was off of
Fast
40 time. It
size.
wasn't off of college production.
ran
or
4.28.
whatever.
So basically, he's not good at drafting offensive players.
That's
He
I mean,
can skill
again,
position
Mac
players
Jones
stick it
and Ramondre Stevenson in the same draft.
Hey, defense is elite.
It is.
Exactly. Let's
He's done
listen.
something right,
He lost the greatest of all time.
and they went.
Yes,
8-9
the year
this
after
year.
they were bad, but
8-9
what
last
his
year, yeah.
responsibility is, which yes, it's the team, but he's a defensive minded. We don't.
He
give Sean-
also
do we
he's the
give
one
Sean
making
McVay slack for
but
defense?
he's the one
No.
making these picks. He's the GM.
Agreed. No, I'm
You
not
know,
saying
like-
wrong, but again, we've seen some good picks here.
What about the
Very
free agency?
infrequent.
Agreed.
Very infrequent.
Agreed.
What about paying Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry?
Hunter
$4
Henry
million?
was one of the league leaders in touchdowns just 2
Yeah.
seasons ago.
It's still overpaid to me. What
John
about
is on the
what about
team.
overpaying Nelson Aguilar?
That was bad.
Yeah.
What about letting Jacoby Myers go and just bringing in Juju?
Again, but it did look
That's-
okay because they made
Watch.
the playoffs when they made all these moves.
When you make all those moves, you have
You get-
1 year of inflated
you get
wins.
blown out by 40,
Then you have a
bro.
The
downfall.
Bills are just better than that.
And I looked it up. The Bills scored a touchdown every single drive. The Chiefs made the Bills punt 4 times. Respect me. Thank
So
you.
the defense,
all.
the defense wasn't great then. You know how you let that happen
No, not a touchdown. Like literally every
no, you
single
can't.
drive was
against a
touchdown.
division
you
rival.
can't defend that. You can't defend that.
Okay, you
No, you
faced
got-
this
I need
team
one
twice
stop.
in a
Yeah,
regular
I need
season.
one.
Maybe
There's
two.
60 minutes.
Yeah.
Give
Did
me one.
Josh
Give me
catch
one
a touchdown
field
in that
goal.
game too?
Huh?
Did Josh catch a touchdown in that game? Why do I feel like that happened?
If he did, that's mad funny.
Just go to game log, bro. Gamecast.
No, it'll
Oh,
be
bro,
here.
nice.
Don't think.
No, he didn't. What am I thinking? Oh no, that was the game against the Texans where he got absolutely fucking laced.
Yeah, facts.
And
facts.
also, you mentioned the Greg Popovich comparison earlier. I think it's a bit different because the Spurs
haven't made the playoffs
Dog, he
since.
went 21 for 25.
Oh, that's
Sir-
a lie. That's a lie.
the Spurs
Four
since
touchdowns.
Kawhi left
Wait, no, you're looking. I'm looking at the
have
wrong game, my
not
bad.
tried to heavily compete and go all in to compete. The Patriots have made that attempt in free agency. The Spurs, since Kawhi left and the DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge kind of experiment,
All right. I was
they've
gonna
been
say.
clearly rebuilding
And Pop doesn't make bad picks in the draft. He usually doesn't.
outside of Josh Primo.
Yeah, he makes like once every 3, 4, 5 years of a bad pick, but
Yeah.
usually they undraft well. Like the
It's
undrafted
just
guys are really
they're
good.
okay. And you know what? You can't say that
Secondary
they're bad
though,
picks.
Belichick secondary. He usually has that.
Yeah,
on lock.
You
he
can't
hits.
say they're bad picks
No
because
doubt.
they're kind of
Corner-
like
he gets
middle of the
corner after
draft.
corner
So
after
you're right.
He
corner.
never really has a lottery pick to make a banger.
And
pick,
the
you
one
know?
time he gets
He gets
fucking
picked,
number
so,
one overall pick. Lucky.
This-
And even with his bad teams, they end up making
I'm
the
not
playoffs.
gonna say
or
wrong, and
something.
he did a great job in developing DeJounte
He
Murray.
just made the play in two seasons ago.
called the fraudulent. You can't say that.
I mean,
You're not
hey,
allowed
in
to say
hindsight,
that.
they did. In hindsight,
not
you're
allowed to
right.
say that.
They ended up going from playing to number 1 overall pick.
Pop,
Yeah, it's
Pop-
W.
Pop-
Intentionally tanking. though.
Intention-
Pop Bill
facts.
levels, man.
Yeah.
I don't think the Patriots have been like intentionally trying to lose.
No, they've been
No,
trying
no.
to win.
Yeah.
You don't pay Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry and
Mm-mm.
Nelson Aguilar. Right? I mean, even when they made those signs, I think everyone was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
But those signings were only 2 offseasons ago. Jonnu Smith and Nelson Aguilar are off the team.
Yeah.
And Hunter Henry is an overpay, man.
Yeah, like he's like the
And
15th
Jalen
best
Mills
tight
is
end.
average. They're already replacing
I just
him.
don't think it's possible for Belichick to be on the hot seat. I agree. He could be gone in a season, but it's going to be, me and Robert Kraft have mutually
Mutual?
agreed to part ways. I don't think Robert Kraft should go up to Bill Belichick and say,
You're
out of here. You're
fired."
fired. You know what
How
I mean?
many sub 500 seasons do the Patriots have to have for Robert Kraft to fire Bill Belichick?
I think
Two more?
I think he's gonna go be like, Bill, can you just resign? Like, he's gonna go every season, just resign. After like
How many sub
2 or 3
500?
years.
So he went 7-9 the year after Tom Brady. This was with Cam Newton when they weren't even throwing the fucking ball. And then they go 10-7 with a rookie Mac Jones,
Yep.
one of the best defenses in the league. Yes, they were catastrophically bad.
And
in
these
the
are
game.
not good.
All right. And then 8-9 the year after.
So 2 so far. He has 2 sub 500 seasons.
But you're being critical on
So-
7-9 and 8-9
over under 4.5.
this season. I'll
Over
go
under,
over.
over under
No,
4.5 sub
seasons.
500
Yeah.
seasons.
Oh my god.
Under.
He has 2 right
Under.
now.
How many does Pop have?
They're
2?
intentionally tanking.
How many
has
does
3.
Pop have?
I'm going. I think if Bill Belichick has 2 more sub 500 seasons, he's gone.
Here we go.
I'm taking an under on that.
It's time.
No.
Popovich just got an extension.
He
No.
did.
Pop has 4 in a row.
But now we got Wemby, so he's chilling.
No. You know what they
No,
did?
these are bad though.
Do you
These
know what they did,
32,
bro?
33, 34, 22.
You know what they did, bro?
22.
They said, bro, you're gonna
What
be
is
one of
that?
you're gonna be one of the most losing teams in the league.
Yeah.
You're gonna tank so terribly that we're gonna end up getting the number 1 overall draft
But
pick.
I like
think
that
one of these
more.
times
We're
in
gonna
the plan.
I like that more than going 7
me
and
ask you a
10, 8
question,
and 9,
Joel.
having no chance.
Joel, and maybe now you, because you're saying that you like this more. Let me ask you guys this
They're
question.
playing merchants.
Let's
also.
say that the Patriots go and they lose every single game
I'll
this
be
year.
sick.
Caleb Williams.
They lose every
I'll
single
be
game this
sick.
year. Are you gonna be up here when the season's over and say we should fire Bill Belichick?
No, because they'll get Caleb Williams and it's a fresh start.
So then
That's
what?
direction.
They're getting an extension, right?
But they're not going to.
Is that what we reward now?
Greg got it.
nowadays-
Once they saw Victor and shit, they was like, yeah.
It's the fact that Bill Belichick, he has not been able to draft positions, and in free agency, he overpays for average players.
You were here telling me that Mac Jones was going to be the best rookie quarterback.
He was that. That's
was
what
the
There he
best rookie
was.
quarterback.
So then what? Why are we criticizing the selection?
No, because he came in and his floor was already so high.
That's not the
Mac Jones
selection I'm
came
talking
into the
about.
league as an NFL quarterback. These other guys didn't. Well, Trevor just got fucked, but
No, of
Zach,
course.
Justin
Oh.
Fields by Urban Meyer. Yeah.
No loop. It was fucked.
I think it's
No.
going to be Trevor Fields. We'll see what happens with Lance.
Trey Lance, fact.
Zach in year 5 will make a bounce back. But
Oh
for the
my
most part,
God.
it'll be
Cut
Mac
the
at 3.
Fuck out, bro.
Come on, what?
Stop. You told us you would stop last year. You promised us you would
You
stop.
did tell us
Yeah,
that.
you said you would stop. And now you're
Sorry.
back.
It lasted like 3 months.
Maybe. I don't even know if it lasts 3 months.
right. Let's move on to Mojo investments for the AFC East. Now, who are your investments? I have an investment for each team. I'm gonna
Of
let you
course.
guys go first though
Okay.
and give your investments.
Really,
Now, Drew,
really doesn't surprise me that you have an investment for every single team.
I'm
However,
gonna be using Mojo a lot.
I mean,
this season.
understandably so, but you know me, I'm a tactical assassin when it comes to investments. I am keeping my eye on Tyquan Thornton because I do believe very firmly that he will be a very important piece to this offense for the sole fact that they need someone to take the top off. And so long as Tyquan Thornton is healthy, that is what he provides you. And we're seeing it. Mac Jones has the capabilities to make these throws downfield. So long as you give him a decent enough pocket, Tyquan Thornton has the speed, has the capabilities to get past the members of the secondary. At $5, I firmly believe that this price will increase. I just can't see how it doesn't, given the fact that now he has a full offseason. He is 100% healthy. We saw a couple of plays here and there last season. Hopefully they use him more as a gadget guy, utilizing his speed. But I expect him to be one of the most important pieces to the offenses, not named Ramondre Stevenson.
I'm shocked you didn't go with Tua.
Well, the thing is, Tua, yes, I get it. He's $41 for the quarterback position. But again, I just find that he can go higher. Yes, especially with the idea that I believe that he can be an MVP candidate. I just try to name you guys the lower value pieces that you can get more bang for your buck. $41 $41 to someone who's just starting their Mojo account may seem like a little bit too much. Maybe you go and try and find a low-key guy like a Tyquan Thornton. I believe we spoke about it with the AFC North, a guy like Kenny Pickett whose price is so low. So long as he becomes a long-term starter, that price will slowly but surely go up. We've seen it with guys like Andy Dalton. I mean, Joe Flacco was tough because, of course, he won a Super Bowl. But there's names. Kirk Cousins he's more the upper echelon, stable. I don't want to say system QB, but maybe that's the word I'm looking for. I want to start praising Kirk Cousins more. I feel like he deserves that. After watching the quarterback, I've been enlightened to how much work he puts into the craft. And on top of it, he's an amazing
believer
human being.
in Christ.
God bless him. God bless him. Absolutely, he is.
Husband.
He is. He's an amazing
Kirk
person.
Cousins.
That's
You
great.
see him on the
Yeah.
silence saying,
He's great.
frick, gosh darn it.
That's
was
hilarious.
I
hilarious.
love Kirky.
And of course,
Kirky-o.
Kirky-o is nuts.
Kirky Banks. Shout out. I have one more. Unless you,
I have two.
let me ask you a question. Is he on the Buffalo Bills?
Yes.
Does he play the running back position?
No.
All right. Well, the answer is James Cook.
I knew you were going to.
For the fact that he is 26 cents more than Tyquan Thornton, and in my opinion, I think he will have by far the better season.
Yeah.
James Cook should be involved in both the rushing and the passing aspect of the Buffalo Bills offense. I look to him to be one of the more effective players that is not Stephon Diggs. I would not be surprised if he's the second most utilized person in this offense just because of the versatility that he supplies. And for $5.26, my guy last year was Ramondre Stevenson. And we got Ramondre Stevenson out of steal. And I believe that Ramondre is upwards of almost $9 now. And when it comes to skill position players, that $3 increase is huge. We don't see leaps normally like a Justin Jefferson go from like that 20 to 25. That alone was crazy, or like the 18 to 25, whatever it was. But James Cook, I believe that this will be a breakout season for him.
Now, just let everybody out there know, Mojo is a sports stock market. You can invest into the careers of these athletes. So these prices are made up of what Mojo believes their career value is. It's two prices, their earned value and projected future value.
Yep.
Now, to your point, Drew, you said people might not want to get in at that $41 price point that Tua has. Well, they don't have to because they can just put in $5 into Tua,
Correct.
$10 into Tua, kind of how like you do with regular stocks.
Definitely.
You can buy a fraction of it and you'll still reap the benefits of the percentage that it goes up, but you also can go short. If you don't think the price is going to go up, you can go short and the price will go down. And Mojo is going to have daily fantasy in August for the NFL season. So they're going to have DFS and it's going to be available in 30 states. Right now, Mojo's only available in New
What's the
Jersey.
two states that's not available?
I'm not sure,
I
but
bet you it's Hawaii and Alaska.
I know that it'll be available in California,
You said
Texas.
30 states, correct? You said 30?
30. It'll be available
bro, there's
30.
20
Oh
more.
shit, 50. It's not 21, it's 20.
It's
I
going to
said
be
that
available in the
It's
bigger
30
ones.
states, so 20 more states that it's not.
Oh, I heard you
available
say
in.
21. That's why.
California,
Damn.
Texas, Florida. It's going to be available in all the really big states. So, yeah, that's just Mojo, an overview for you guys. And when we talk about breakout AFC players, if they have a breakout in real life, that means they're going to have a breakout in their price as well. And I'm looking at a New York Jet. You know, I'm going to let you get your guy. I know you like the running back. I like him too, but I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Tough.
$16.82. I think Garrett Wilson is going to break out in a big way. Elite receivers hit the $20
so you
price
have-
point on Mojo.
That's my low key one. Oh, this is Garrett. Sorry.
It is Garrett.
This is my low key one.
And I think Garrett Wilson can break out in a big way, and we can maybe see him over 1,300 yards and be one of the top echelon receivers in the league. So I think he'll get to the $20 price point, and I'm getting on Garrett right
Shit,
now.
I mean, he had
Okay, I
1,100
like it.
last year. 1,300.
I'll, backpack you, go to New York Jets. I got two. One staple one. Brees Hall's coming back. I think he's going to be ready for week one. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, he hit 23 miles per hour at practice yesterday. I know people are scared about the ACL injury. It might take a little bit of time to ease him into the backfield, but I think by at least midseason, he's going to be ready to go. We saw last year, he could be one of the most explosive running backs. He has top 5, top 3, arguably could be the best running back in the NFL one day if everything goes right. And a low-key one that nobody's talking about, I haven't heard this guy's name. He had a great mini camp back in June. Jeremy Ruckert, tight end for the Jets, 3rd-round pick last year from Ohio State. We do have CJ Uzomah and Conklin still on the roster, but what I've heard from minicamp was saying, don't be surprised if Rucker sees the field more. He's only 47 cents on Mojo right now, so he's very low-key, under the radar, but if he sees the field, he has the receiving upside to put up 500-600 yards in this offense.
And if at 50 cents, if he does anything of
Exactly, he
notice,
could go crazy.
he's going to be over $1.
And
I
just
have
like that, W money.
a very low-key one. Khalil Shakir for the
I
Bills.
like that.
Was that yours?
No, thank
Really?
God.
Okay.
Thank fucking God.
$1.31.
No Gabe Davis.
Khalil Shakir. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
We're leaving it last all in the past.
Gabe Davis price is at $7.92. You know who's under him? My guy, Dalton Kincaid.
There we
Sitting
go.
at $7.80. Listen, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. We were talking about it earlier before, though, as a collective. That number 2 spot is open. It is open for anybody on that Buffalo Bills team to get that spot. And why can't it be a rookie in Dalton Kincaid, somebody with receiving ability? Could he come out and break out, like you said, and have an elite rookie year and up his price? We don't know. We see Gabe Davis sitting at $7.92. Let's be honest, probably doesn't go much higher than that, maybe like $1 more. But I think Dalton Kincaid is going to have a huge role in this team this year. So that's going to be my guy. Another guy I seen was Keyshawn Butte.
Oh,
no.
My guy.
Yeah, your guy. He's in New England.
Short.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's $1.90. Is it $1? I see them at $1. Yeah,
He's probably nothing. Yeah.
it's
For
not
good reason.
I'll be honest, he might not make the roster.
really
Short.
on the
Short.
back. The Patriots, no receiver. He might not make the roster. I feel bad for you, bro. Yeah, $1.90. You never know. Just throw it at. See,
I hope Kincaid does well because I have him in every fantasy league right now.
We
really?
do.
Yep. I have him in everyone. I'm in 2 so far.
He should.
I'm gonna be in another one with the guys in the Discord too.
Oh, you're in that group chat? I'm in there.
Yeah. You're in it too?
Yeah, I'm playing.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sweet.
I'll go fuck
Sweet.
myself.
We didn't make sorry.
Sorry, you wouldn't take my spot? Okay. Well, Dawson knocks. He mostly blocks, so Kincaid will be out there.
Damn, I ratioed the shit out of you on this one.
Listen, it's
Let me
Dolphins
see.
Twitter, bro. You know you're gonna
And you
get
know
it.
Dolphins Twitter loves me.
Yeah, but then Timberwolves Twitter,
That's
you know,
just-
when I do my thing.
Yeah, that's when I fade. When I,
Nah, I
fade.
think
Even
it's
though
the-
Lakers
it's the-
Twitter
it's the
loves
dis-
me.
No,
emoji.
this emoji.
Yeah, it's
one
the
of the
dis
most, I think it's
emoji.
more disrespectful emoji.
It probably
I
is.
do it too often. I need to stop.
Bro, that
What
emoji
was the
just looks so
ratio? What was
fucking
the
big.
likes?
Nah, I mean, you got
didn't change your
14, I got
color?
56.
Oh.
Color to what?
And the emoji color. You didn't change?
Oh no, bro.
It says yellow.
I'm here
Simpson.
for all.
You guys signed.
Yeah.
You guys
Cool.
signed Brett Meyer, the kicker.
That's our
Come
kicker.
on.
That's a W.
So quarterbacks on Mojo. Just want to finish off with this.
Mhm.
Quarterbacks on Mojo are very lucrative. Tua, I still think is underpriced.
It
If he has another great
drastically.
season, he'll be one amongst one of the, he'll definitely increase $10. That's what I want to say. Tua right now is at 41.82. Quarterbacks like Derek Carr, like Dak Prescott, like Joe Flacco are over him right now. So you can definitely get on right now and see a price increase. And if Mac Jones has a better season this year than last year, he's at $29. He can also increase. So I think AFC East has a lot of potential for players to break out in a big way. You can download the Mojo app with the link in our bio. and use code PickAsideMojo for a deposit bonus. Now, they are going to have daily fantasy soon, and that'll be available in 30 states. Right now, you can download the app everywhere, but it's only available for the sports stock market of the app's only available in New Jersey, but they're rolling out DFS to 30
So
states.
Dehls, he's about to get cut.
The report I saw was saying there's a decent chance it doesn't make
He
the
sucks?
roster.
Here's the issue.
Why
Tyquan
were
Thornton
you high on
fucking
him?
clears.
I wasn't really like ever high on him, but his freshman year at LSU, he was insane.
Oh, this was the guy you were telling me about. He
Yeah.
got hurt and
he
stuff.
got hurt, and then he
Yeah.
had some off the field problems. He had some character concerns. The Patriots took him in like the 5th or 6th round. Going into his sophomore year, he was the wide receiver 1 in this class.
Oh, for real.
Yeah, and then
He's from LSU, right?
Yeah.
Hate that for him.
Now, we're going to read the super chats and then finish off with our
Sure,
AFC
Joe.
East predictions. Santos sends $5.
Santos.
No
So-
comment.
Love you. I love you, Santos.
Kill
One more
Moves
than
goes, where y'all think Roman ranks on all-time lists? And do y'all think he surpassed Stone Cold or The Rock? Hope y'all have a good one.
I think Roman has
Roman
to,
Reigns.
he might has I firmly believe Roman has solidified himself as one of the all-time greats. I do believe that. Do I think that he's ahead of Stone Cold and The Rock? No.
Mm-mm.
That's probably the most I've watched WWE, and in terms of like impact, I don't think he'll ever like get to their level because that was such like a different time. You know,
Nobody
It's
ever
golden
thought
era.
that.
yeah,
nobody-
WWF Attitude Eras.
It was like after Stone Cold and The Rock, we were blessed with Shawn Michaels continuing to stay
Triple
around,
H,
and then Triple H now
Undertaker.
comes along. Undertaker,
And then what The
of
Rock
course.
did for them outside of like with the movie,
Oh,
yeah,
no doubt.
it's-
No one even thought that there would be guys to be on that level. And here's John Cena.
Mhm.
And then, of course, that's just the gold standard of how we look at all wrestlers. Edge was another all-time great for sure.
Randy Orton.
You're naming bangers, but Roman Reigns is definitely in that category
in that
with
tier.
me. In that Randy Orton, in
Yeah.
that Edge. You could put him with the Triple H's
Batista's
as
in
well.
there, too.
Triple H, though, I feel like since now he's in the business aspect of it too, he moves up a lot of people's rankings because not only was he a performer, an elite level performer, he also calls the shots and now maneuvers some of the best TV that we've seen in some time.
I also think when it comes to Roman Reigns, what hurts him on the all-time list is the lack of rivalries with big-name
Yeah,
star wrestlers. The Bloodline is one of the best storylines WWE has produced in some
Ever.
time.
For sure.
But you look at John Cena, we got rivalries against Edge, against Randy Orton, against CM Punk,
Mhm.
against top-end guys, against Brock Lesnar, against Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Those are star-studded guys. Triple H, Shawn
Even
Michaels,
his
Chris
come up
Jericho.
against JBL was historic.
And it's hard to put him in that Triple H tier because he has all those rivalries plus the ones with The Rock,
No doubt.
Stone Cold, Mick Foley, The Undertaker. Like he goes way
No
back.
doubt.
Like, he
Triple
has
H a
like
goat.
20, 25 years. Yeah.
Roman Reigns for the title reign.
Yeah.
He
He's like Hulk Hogan. He's like
automatically-
Hulk Hogan. Like
Exactly, but that's when people have Hulk Hogan in the Mount Rushmore.
But the
He was
title
up
reign,
6
Yeah,
years. running
deservedly
shit,
so.
yeah.
but the title reign is due to not enough star wrestlers being produced
Yeah.
to where you feel comfortable in them
That's
taking
more on
away from Roman.
WWE than him.
The only ones that currently WWE that have the star power to take it away from Roman and you accept it is probably Jay because of the storyline,
for sure.
Cody Rhodes,
Definitely.
Seth Rollins, and I think
Sami?
the list. I don't think Sami Zayn's that.
Think
that-
about
that
the
star.
heat that he had.
He had a lot of heat, but I think
I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
I don't see Sammy as that. I think he's a great mid-carder tag teamer. Yeah, I love Sammy though. This is from Damon Lavender. Is Mahomes versus Brady the next LeBron versus MJ?
Where'd he going?
What was it?
Oh, you mean like all time?
Mahomes versus Brady the next LeBron?
Definitely.
Versus
you
yeah,
MJ?
could
it
say
will
it
be,
like
for
that,
sure.
yeah, around that level.
It could be.
Almost got fucking 2 already, bro.
I feel like Peyton versus Brady was like Kobe versus MJ, and then like now this is like the new shiny toy in the block.
All Mahomes needs is 5 more.
That's a lot. You said that like that was
Got
like
2 in
Yeah,
4
he
years.
could do it.
Right?
He can. He is
5
too. Yeah, you're right.
4 years.
You know what they don't talk about? About the whole storyline was about Brady and Mahomes. They don't talk about Kelsey and Gronk. They don't. And they don't talk about how Gronk had 2 touchdowns that game. They don't talk about that. They only talk about Brady and Mahomes.
It's a
Why?
quarterbacks league.
I think we do care because Rob Gronkowski is one of the best this game's ever seen. Period.
Kelsey too.
Yeah,
For sure.
but I think if it was talked about,
But I only say that because recent conversations about Kelsey being
Oh,
the
you seen
GOAT
it?
tight end.
Kelsey called Gronk the GOAT.
That's why Kelsey respects game.
Yeah, he said Gronk's the guy.
He is.
I
like
think he had
Kelsey?
Tony ahead of
Huh?
himself
Like
too.
Kelsey?
I definitely don't hate him. I don't like him. I don't hate him.
This is from Clicky Keys. Just signed Brett Maher, Drew. What's up though, fellas?
We're here. Shout
Respect
out
them
my guy,
Broncos
Ricky.
because we coming. Let them know, Drew. This Ricky, by the way.
I know. Shout out to my dog Ricky. That's a Bronco legend right there.
And he said Patreon was lit. Riv, you still need the bidet? Question mark.
Yes. Now send that. Tell me, send that, and I need that.
Kelsey
is in
already
range.
has more yards than
Yards,
him.
easy, yeah.
Touchdowns though. Gronk's got
20.
by 23.
20?
Yeah.
Gronk's played less time.
And
too,
Gronk
right?
hasn't played in 2 seasons.
Receptions, Kelsey hasn't cleared.
Daniel Guerrero goes, when are you guys doing AFC West predictions?
You're a big receiver guy, because what about blocking, bro?
Just doing head-to-head stats.
I don't want to hear that.
What was the
When are we doing the AFC West predictions?
Is that-
soon next?
Could be next episode.
How
Why not?
we did the North, then we did the East. Feel like we got to do. Oh wait, we did the South already. What am I
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah, it's got to be the West.
Do I have any blocking stats?
So that's next up. This next episode. Santos, $20. I'll be buying the white and black outfit. I'm getting Drew's jersey next week, and then Dehls will have to pick Riv's jersey and the player he hates the most for the shirt. I hope that makes sense, Riv and Dehls.
Sir,
I guess I picked.
this is for NFL or NBA or doesn't matter.
Oh, you know who I'm picking.
It's NFL
You're
season.
fucked.
Maybe Santos will change it up, but I think means NFL.
Oh, because if it was NBA, I'll just tell you off the rip. I was picking Andrew Wiggins. You were gonna have to
I
wear
don't know
that
who
for
the
sure.
fuck do you hate in the NFL?
Anybody?
He doesn't. NBA get him Chris Paul jersey. Warriors.
Warriors, Chris Paul.
Warriors shirt. That's the one. And Santos goes, I need a Vegas vlog.
Coming soon.
It's coming soon.
literally
John,
in
did
the
you
making.
guys see it? The rough edit?
I have to watch. I wish I
He
had to
wanted me to
download
download it,
Yeah,
exactly.
well,
I did saw.
Why can't we just unlist it on YouTube?
No,
Send
you
a
don't
link.
have to download it. You could just preview it.
It was
I
trying.
seen
It
it.
didn't let me preview
I
it.
see
They
it.
didn't
It
let
was
me
cool.
either.
Okay.
It's cool.
Are
like
we
it.
doing our final predictions? We didn't do that.
Yes.
Okay.
It was after Super Chats.
Word,
you
word,
know,
word.
there's- come on, Dales.
I just want to make sure we're not missing anything.
Come on.
We should do super chats last.
AFC East record predictions for the 2023 NFL season. I got the Dolphins shirt on, but I regret to inform you, as much as I love Tua and the Miami Dolphins, I'm going with the New York Jets finishing with the first seed at 12-5. And yes, I'm going 1 through 4. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills at 11-6, the Dolphins at 10-7, and the Patriots at 6-11. And I think that's their ceiling.
All right, so I got the Buffalo Bills coming in at 12-5. I have the Jets and the Dolphins coming in at 11-6, and then I have the Patriots finishing at 5-12.
All right. So for me, in first place, I have the Miami Dolphins finishing with 12 wins, 5 losses. In second place, I have the Buffalo Bills finishing with a record of 11-6. I decided to change my mind. You know what? Fine. You guys think I give a flying fuck?
Hey, you did all that
Buffalo-
argument. Change it?
Well,
Go back, stick
fair
to your
enough.
word.
All right, fine. 10 wins, 7 losses. In third place, tied with the same record, is going to be the New York Jets. 10 wins, 7 losses. And in last
They
place,
called me the casual.
the New England Patriots, finishing with either 4 or 5 wins. I'm going to go 5
Wow.
wins.
I have.
We're going to get so many comments saying we're sleeping on the Pats.
Yeah, they said that last year. They said there's no way the Pats finishing last, and they got one game on us.
But here's
they
the
still
thing.
suck.
I think that the Patriots probably will find a way to win 6-7, but just looking at the schedule, it's very difficult for me to give them those games.
Looking at the schedule, it's hard to find more than 3 wins for the Patriots.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a
I-
Patriots issue.
like,
it's a schedule.
I'll
issue.
give mine, but I have the Jets and Bills both finishing 11-6. Jets tiebreaker, first in division. Dolphins right behind them at 10-7, and the Patriots with the respectable 5-12, because first time through the schedule, it was 3 wins, and I was like, they're not going 3-14. I had to find a couple more, so I blessed them a little bit.
And that's going to do it for our AFC East predictions. And that's going to do it for our AFC East preview show. Next show will be AFC West. Also, want to let you guys know that we're having our merch drop next week.
There
We
we
also,
go.
for episode 300, have a very special panel of guests lined up for that
Wonder
episode.
what that's going to be.
And Drew, can you just recap the winners of the giveaway? The 3 winners of the
Absolutely. First
giveaway?
off, we do want to thank you guys all for entering into the
Over
raffle.
120 entries. Shout out to
Unbelievable.
you
You
guys.
guys showed a tremendous amount of love. But shout out to our guy, Jalen Talton, 02, double XL. We can't forget the sizes. Shout out to Justin, 32, JJ. And shout out to Sugar Free, 23.
If you won the raffle, then comment down in the YouTube comment section. We'll get back to you and we'll communicate via email to get you situated and get you with your pick a side merch and shirts.
Can I join the raffle?
Sorry, bro.
You already got a shirt.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a hat or something.
No, it's for the t-shirt. Come on. All right.
You
So
look alive.
you can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. We'll see you next time.